Welcome to week 4 of Rocket League in the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. We have another pumping round of action coming your way from the Gfinity Esports Arena at the Entertainment Quarter in Sydney and live on 10 Peach.
It's rivalry round with our two Sydney and Melbourne teams ready to snatch bragging rights from one another. And with just 2 weeks to go until the semi-finals, some teams need to get a move on or they're going to miss out on a chance to claim some sweet prize money in the finals.
Now last week we were treated some classic Rocket League gameplay. Here are the best bits from round 3. Give it up for the Brisbane Deceptors! And now keep that going for the Sydney Chiefs!
Both these two teams vying for that undefeated season status. Try and build it, work those passing. Their passing game has been absolutely on point. And that is a threatening pass as it goes into the back of the net. Kami makes no mistake.
Such a good pass as well. The pass back, here's Torsos, pops it up. Jake comes through, he knows his old teammate. What a second touch from Torsos. And that's going to end it there. Sydney Chiefs close it out 3-0.
Please go nuts, Melbourne Order! Their opponents today, first round 0.
This is going to be a real seesaw match.
Adaptations from both parties with that big clear from Dumbo heading towards net. No one's there.
And he has run away from the circus with that clearance.
Good touch in the defensive side of Order. The bump on both Zen and Lim means Dumbo can't get a massive clear. Go towards net. Game 5.
There we go, ground 0. They find themselves game 5 once again.
A miss from Walcott could spell bad news. Ghost is demoed. It's rolling in. Melbourne Order nowhere to take it. Melbourne Order showing us they're here to stay. Zen, knock it down. Say goodbye. 5-1. Damn, they tried. Sydney Raw, Melbourne Avant, the last series begins here.
Boy, oh boy, we waited for this one.
1-0, 12 seconds out of the gate. And let's see if that pace continues to play. Look at Express. Oh my! Sydney Raw, they want to go fast. The Autobahns for them. For Melbourne Avant, it could end right here. 0-3. Doesn't feel like it's enough to make top 4. It might just secure Sydney Raw in those positions moving forward. And you can see why clean plays like that. Sydney Raw are looking strong with a 3-0 over AV.
It's time to bring in our Rocket League analyst for week 4. Guys, make some noise for Yummy Cheese Man. Yummy! Mr. David Lane, we've got 2 tasty crosstown matchups today. Are you pumped for these?
Melbourne versus Sydney, obviously superior Sydney, Sydney. And I guess we'll find out who's Melbourne, who's the best team, but does it really matter?
Yeah, well, okay.
Ooh, it doesn't
Hot
really
take,
matter.
hot take.
What? So the Melbourne battle between Order and Avant is all about survival, particularly for Avant. How do you see that match going?
It's really tough. I mean, Avant haven't even got a single win yet this season. They've had a rough season trying to find their third. And Order right now, even though they haven't had the strongest season, they haven't lived up to expectations, they've got such high potential. I still think they're going to make the finals and they'll take out the win.
Really? Well, last week, Sydney Chiefs starting roster returned from overseas competition and they were absolutely clinical in their takedown of Brisbane Deceptors. Cheeseman, Kami's goals in particular were top quality, weren't they?
He's really stepped up, and from the World Championship, where he performed better than I've ever seen him, and he's continued it in this competition last week. He's on fire, but all of the Chiefs boys were. They were having so much fun. They were enjoying themselves. Even when they were getting scored on, they were able to have a good laugh.
Yeah, definitely. Now, there was some spite in that match, though, with Deceptors captain Jake facing his former teammates for the first time. Kami was an automatic pick to take his place at the end of last season.
Dripper and Torsos came to me saying they weren't comfortable with Jake and wanted to try something else. And they came to me, you know, the next best player in the region. So, and yeah, just start from there. In the back of my mind, I always had the thought of, you know, like stepping into the shoes of Jake. I got to like step up, you know, be better. But I think, yeah, at first it was a bit, you know, dodgy. We had a few mistakes, but once we just started grinding, you know, we worked through all our issues, and yeah, we got there.
Torsos, who is building a reputation for trash talk at Chiefs, fueled the fire after last week's match win. Let's take a listen.
I think he was looking to be a bit better than he was today, but we just showed him how much better we are without him, you know.
I was feeling pretty excited to play against my old teammates. I knew it would be a bit tough of a game because they've been overseas for a while, and so is the other best team in Australia. So we really weren't quite ready for that level of competition.
I know they're all mates, but there must have been a bit of Jake that absolutely wanted to smash him home.
A little bit of Jake really wanting to prove himself after being dropped, but also for the Chiefs, it's big proof as well. Not only did they prove themselves that they could do better with Kami at the World Championship, but they also proved that they could take the win over their former teammate. But as you said, they're still friends. They're still hanging out in the crowd after the match, having a good laugh.
Yeah, definitely. Well, last week's match definitely brought out the best in a normally mild-mannered, sexy Steve from Deceptors.
Honestly, I felt really excited going into this game. I came into this game with an open mind to learn from it and also try my best. I even put in extra hours this week just to prepare for this game. I'd love to get revenge and then stick it in Torso's face.
Fighting words there from Sexy Steve. Okay, moving on. The defending champions Melbourne Order finally registered their first win of Season 2 last week. But Cheeseman, they did it the hard way because Perth Ground Zero pushed them to Game 5. Zen iced the win with a hat trick.
They keep finding the toughest ways to get through their matches, and that's led them to get those 2 big losses. One of them in Game 5, and now they are on the verge of a tough route through the rest of the competition. Zen right there, cheeky, happy with himself. He's the one that's super important for their performance. When he's doing well, they are able to beat anyone.
Yeah, he definitely boosts them all up, and it seems that self-belief was sky high in the Order camp heading into that Game 5 decider.
Last game, we all just came out really confident. We knew we wanted to finish strong because we've been struggling with that in the past few weeks, and getting the win, I think, is really great for our team mentality in general to come back next week and the week after, and, you know, weeks to come a lot stronger.
First win today, absolutely stoked. We've gone 0-2 for the first 2 weeks, so to finally get a win feels amazing.
It's definitely a big confidence booster. We needed to win today, and the fact that we did win is a good showing that we can do it when we need to.
And here are the Rocket League standings after Week 3. Thanks to Dare Ice Coffee and Astro Headset, Sydney Chiefs remain undefeated and lead the way on 9 points. Their crosstown rivals, Sydney Raw, are just 2 points behind. Brisbane Deceptors and Perth Ground Zero round at the top 4, while the Melbourne teams have got some work to do.
And we'll find out soon whether Order or Avant are headed home with points today. They're our first matchup. Ground Zero and Deceptors go head-to-head next, and Sydney Raw will try and inflict Chiefs' first loss of the season in our final match. We cannot wait for that one.
But we have to. That's the rules that comes at the end of the day.
I'm just so excited to see.
Yeah.
It is as well.
Oh, yep, you go.
The competition that's first versus second, third versus fourth, fifth versus sixth. There are a lot of really close matchups today, and we will find out 1 or 2 teams that have qualified and maybe 1 or 2 teams that have not made it into the top 4 by the end of the day.
Yeah, well, let's turn our attention right now to our opening clash. It's the Melbourne Derby between Order and Avant. Cheeseman, here's the Order lineup. We've got Dumbo, Jules and Zen. No changes to this since the start of the season.
No, they really stick together through thick and thin. Unfortunately, it's been thin a lot recently, but they have just got that win off Ground Zero. They're moving forward. We see Zen here, very important. But Dumbo and Jules, they have been quite consistent throughout the season. I think they're a big shot of being the anchor for Zen to really form around.
And of course their opponents are Melbourne Avant, and it is a win at all costs for them today. Let's take it through the team. We've got Bango, Vibe and Focusrite.
Even though this is the Melbourne versus Melbourne matchup, they are playing just to stay in this competition. They need the win right here. They have brought in Focusrite. Last week it was his first ever week in the competition. He got a couple of goals right at the end. Good signs for this week. He should be a lot better. We should see a lot more, hopefully for Avant.
Do or
they
die.
They can do well. It's do or die for them.
Excited to see what he brings. Big match for both teams. The time for talk is done from us. Let's make some noise as we bring our teams to the Hoist Gfinity the Esports Arena for Rocket League Sunday. First match of the day. Please give it up for the defending champions, Melbourne Order! Dumbo, Jules and Zen. And now give it up for their crosstown rivals, Melbourne Avant! Via Bango and Focusrite. Got a chance squad for Focusrite in. Hey, our opening match is just minutes away. Make sure you follow Gfinity AU on socials to be notified when we go live on CSGO, Rocket League and Street Fighter. We'll be back real soon with our first big matchup of the day. We've got Melbourne Order taking on Melbourne Avant. Teams are fired up, ready to go. It's Rocket League Sunday. We'll see you in a minute. Go absolutely nuts for Melbourne Avant!
Avant look like a simple team, but they've actually beaten us before, and they're they're no underdog really coming into this, to be honest. So we've got to just bring our A game and play the best we can, and we'll win.
Oh, smacks it through him.
Yeah, as long as we can hold off defensively, because they're a very offensive team. They like to commit pretty hard to when they go for the ball. If we can hold back on defense and push forward on offense, it should be a close matchup.
We know we're capable of taking down Avant. We do need to respect them. We've shown that we can really have slip-ups against any team, so we'll just make sure we're solid for the game.
Dumbo, duck down. It goes underneath.
I think there's opportunity in every game, but I think a quarter are definitely probably a bigger opportunity than most others.
Our semi-final hopes are still alive. We need to win the next two, I believe. So I think we can do it.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
3 days ago, Coda announced that Zero would join Cell 7 in the upcoming Soma Worlds tournament. After so many league victories, switching teams this close to the tournament appears to be a deliberate move to destroy Coda's chance at the title.
Welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series. Not long now until our Melbourne Derby. We're seeing Order and Avant. Points are vital right now. I'm waking up. It's Sunday morning. We're live. Points are vital right now. The semi-finals just a couple of weeks away. We can see the teams there getting in the zone. This is a big matchup for both teams. Really important stuff. But before we join our casters and get into the first match today, Alienware is giving you a chance to win a brand new M15 laptop this season. It's the thinnest and lightest 15-inch Alienware gaming notebook ever. This is your chance to take one home. There are 9 different ways to enter. Go to gfinitysports.com.au for all the details on that. And it's all thanks to Alienware and Gfinity Esports Australia. Now, Mr. Yummy, Mr. Cheeseman, you did say it was going to be Order. What do Avant need to do to take them down today?
Well, it's tough. Order are so good as individuals and as a team. They've played together for a long time now, and obviously Avant only just brought in Focusrite. I think if they worked well together, get some demos and those big counterattacks that we know Avant can get, that is their way to take over and overcommitting Order.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. It's time for our first match of the day. Let's get across to our casters for this opening match. James Cowan, who I think is joined at the desk by his stepson, I believe, Jake Ozipenko. Over to you guys.
Yeah, not a clue about that one. Thank you very much, and welcome back to the desk here for week number 4 of the Gfinity Elite Series. Jim Nesso and myself, apparently his stepson.
My son.
However, I haven't got into Movember just yet. Maybe still trying to grow some of that hair, so I can see
You'll
why.
get there in the end. It'll take a while.
I can see a bit of the resemblance. However, for everyone watching and for everyone who's tuning in for maybe the first time, we're going to reward you for sticking around before we do get into the game. You can head to gfinity.incentloyalty.com and use your drop code on the screen. This time it's G-Hat-Trick to earn some currency. Again, I've got about $5 or $6 and it's going up, so that's
you can earn.
That's Incent for you. You've only got a limited time to go to the website and enter that drop code and get paid. You receive 5 Incent for each drop code all weekend long across the multiple games. Don't worry about missing the action. You can keep watching the match from the rewards website. It's that easy. So if everyone's got their phone out here in the audience, go and get some money. But this is more important at the moment. Melbourne Order, Melbourne Avant. Let's get straight into that because this is a Melbourne v Melbourne matchup where one team is facing elimination. In fact, both of them, this could be the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Well, exactly right. No one is safe at the moment in this particular matchup, and they need to play for their season right now. Obviously, for Avant, they need to get their first win on the board. Melbourne Order had only just experienced that last week, so it is really do or die for them.
Well, hopefully we start off with a bang, and we are into game number 1 here. The Melbourne v Melbourne matchup. My father and I can't wait to join in on this one. For Melbourne Order, it's got to be a big bang in game 1 to show us what we need. Defense there from Melbourne Avant. That's how they'll start, but push still comes up from Jules.
Just looking to kick things off in the right way. Melbourne Avant, they need to get themselves on the board early on in the piece. Just get that confidence, build from there. And set themselves up nicely for a 5-game series potentially, who knows?
Then, speaking of that confidence, comes around from the corner. It's Jules as well who commits up. An opening now for Melbourne Avant with one defender left. Dumbo just punches his ticket back to the left-hand side with the demo from Jules. This will open up the net. The banger sent in, but Vibe denies it. First shot there from Melbourne Order.
That was a great save from Vibe too. He's under threat of being smothered, but managed to get it away.
See how aggressive they're playing to start things off here, Jim Nesso. Melbourne Order continue to push up, hanging around the midfield. Jules doesn't find anything with the ball. Zen and Dubbo now, the cross is over to Jules. Opening goal for Melbourne Order.
Great passing play there as well. That really opened up the field. Jules always looking, always a threat. Even Zen was in the mix there as well. So there was an option to pass back if he didn't want to go for the shot, but he picked his spot quite nicely and they find that first goal.
Yep, third hit's the charm. Melbourne Order off with that strong start. And for Avant, we said they needed this lead. They needed it nice and early. There was still the threat for Melbourne Order. That goal again for confidence. 5, punching it towards the backboard. Dumbo helps initiate that, but keeping it down the side of the field. The attack might come to a standstill. Jules now forward 2. Focus right on the defense. Dumbo there. Not letting it go past the midfield. Drop down from Melbourne Order once again. On goal. What else can be created? There's the demo. 5 with the pass back, however. Maybe not what they needed. Bango again to the backboard. Zen doesn't find it. Hits the crossbar, jumps back down. Dumbo will get a bit of dribble time, but a couple of mistakes here and there. Melbourne Order have to be careful.
Melbourne Avant just not backing themselves there. That pass was defensive when it could have been an offensive pass, and they could have put real threat on goal, but didn't back themselves. Maybe a sign of early confidence, not quite being there just yet, but if they get themselves into it, they get themselves an early goal, that might change.
Great infield pass there as well. Banger towards the backboard, bouncing down. Defense not going to be too hard on that one, but it still plays for more time. Shot from Bango. Vibes here to dunk. But denied once more. Focusrite, the new player on Melbourne Avant. It's a step up huge here. Jules. That's going to bounce. Ready for Dumbo right in front of net. Into Bango. Slight defense.
Very intelligent pass there as well. Opting to use the roof. That ball immediately to the path of his teammate, but Melbourne Avant, they've actually found a reply, so just capitalising on some chaos in defence.
Couldn't see anything through the smoke. Zen just gets blown up and Dumbo's not in the right position, can't do anything about it. So Melbourne Avant saving grace here at 2 minutes 21.
Zen really needed to make sure that direction on the pass was better. It went straight into the path of the opposition, and that is why Melbourne Avant have been able to find that reply. But this could turn the tide in their favour. They need to find that confidence. They said they're a slower team, and they needed to work with, I guess, the attacking prowess that Melbourne Order have compared to them, and just sit back and let them come and play that counter, and that's exactly what they did.
Well, Melbourne Avant feel like they're getting in the faces of Order. And in the defensive side, a lot of these 50-50s now actually being won by Melbourne Avant. The punch through. Bango denies once more, playing around the midfield. Focusrite gets out of there. Bango keeps it up just to keep this attack going, but there's a break in the defense. Bango should have had that one. They'll go wanting a minute 30.
Just making sure of that clearance as well. Melbourne Avant have certainly put a slow on Melbourne Order in attack, but they've got numbers behind the ball, and they need to be careful because they don't have boost right now, Melbourne Avant.
But shots after shots that should be connecting, should be going into the back of their net. It's not making leeway. Still one apiece is not a confident score for me to say that Order will take out this series. And that's to be expected right now. Game number 1, 5 denying the midfield clearance. Zen playing in off the wall. He spirals out of control, as Zen usually does.
Controlled chaos.
Controlled chaos. Well said, Gymneso. Jules down with the ball. A great touch, but Focusrite is here. Blocked away. Jules, great save. 5 coming in with the infield pass as well. Bango up and ready, but Jules just punches his ticket down. And Focusrite, great in the defense, having a pretty solid game number 1. Has Jules found an opening? Not this time around. 40 seconds remaining.
Vive, very, very crucial touch there. Needed to make that otherwise open net, but they're still not out of the woods here, Melbourne Order.
Well, here we go. The double touch, not needed. Zen's there, and the reliable man himself might have just secured game 1.
And that is a late goal, and that's what they needed. It's been a very, very slow encounter thus far, but Jules just getting out of the way of Zen's shot.
Not even the camera can keep up with him. He's got so much personality on and off the field. I guess that's why you can trust in Zen for Melbourne Order, but Bango, hang on. More pressure put on towards that net. Time still running out. One last play here, but Melbourne Order might have done enough. Vive up towards the backboard from Dumbo. The punch down, great pass. Zen still here, keeping the play going, but 2 members committing forward. Might be the last opportunity. Melbourne Avant have the dribble. Can they get it around the corner? Vive stops it, but it might just not be enough here. Zen and Jules, again, they find that opening, the weakness there on the defense. And Melbourne Avant come close, but Melbourne Order secure game 1.
Yeah, as we said, it was going to be a very slow encounter in terms of the way Melbourne Avant set themselves up. They were very much defensively minded. You could see even Focusrite tracking back very, very early in a lot of those pieces. And they weren't able to find that second goal to square things up because it was far too late in the game. They only had 30 seconds to work with.
Yeah, I think this, for a game 1, this impressed me from both teams. There were strengths and weaknesses, opportunities, threats. You know, they did their own business analysis as well. I'm proud of Melbourne Avant here because I think they adapted in game 1, which we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and I think just at the end there, Melbourne Order did a great job of just swatting away Melbourne Avant.
Well done. They really stamped, you know, their authority on the competition there, Gymneso. However, it is time to go behind the scenes to see how our teams prepare backstage. Ash is with Jake, well, the other Jake, captain of Brisbane Deceptors. It's Dare Drink It Through time.
Drink it through with Dare Iced Coffee.
Hello guys, good to see you again. I'm just here with Jake. He's asked me to be his muse. Apparently he likes to paint to really get into the vibe of things today. Thanks for chatting with me, Jake.
All good, all good.
So you're up against Perth Ground Zero today. How have you been changing up your gameplay in preparation for today?
Well, last week was a little rough. Chiefs are a really good team. We really saw some weaknesses in defense, but we're hoping to have a bit easier of a time this week.
So you've been painted as one of the most experienced players on your team. It's quite a young team. Have you found that challenging at all?
I've definitely taken a leadership role. My 2 teammates are pretty new to the scene, but we make sure we all contribute a lot and we're really growing as a team as a whole.
I think you guys are playing exceptionally well together. Do you have any expectations for the match today?
Well, Yeezy's been playing really well pretty much all season, but I'm expecting Steve to really pick it up today and carry.
All right, I'm looking forward to seeing it. Actually, do you mind showing me how I look?
Wow. Divine. Perfect.
Drink it through with Dare Iced Coffee.
Welcome back to the Hoist Gfinity Esports Arena at the Entertainment Quarter in Sydney. Melbourne Order is leading their crosstown rivals. Melbourne have won 1-0 in their opening match of Week 4 right now. Now, if you'd like to join our live audience, we'd love to have you come down every weekend. Get your tickets at hoist.com.au/Gfinity. We have a lot of fun, don't we, guys? Perfectly timed. Yummy, what do you reckon about that first match? First game, rather.
First game, really good. Order starting to warm up, I think. We've seen... but keep talking about Zen over and over again. It's up to him to really perform. And even though he didn't have a good start, he was part of both of their goals. He's able to warm up into this, so I feel like he should be good through the rest of the series.
Well, let's see how this second game goes. Let's throw over to the casters right now. Back to you, Jim and Jake, for game 2.
Thank you very much. He may be looking warm, but this game, or this series rather, is looking hot right now. Game number 1 over to Melbourne Order. 1 goal the difference And for some reason, I think that Melbourne Avant, it's not over just yet. This is literally their last series that means anything. If they drop it here, the next one is just going to be for show. And for Avant, it has not been the strongest start to the season, but we want to see a strong start to Game 2 here, Gymnast. So let's get into it.
Yeah, I was actually really happy with the way Avant got themselves into that last match, and I think they just needed that final push to get them over the line. That next goal would have really decided things out, and ultimately it did. But here we go, straight off the bat, Zan nice and direct, and Melbourne Order finished where they started.
Well, Dumbo just got through there, and that's the opener for Melbourne Order. One move, that's all it took. Melbourne Avant under pressure once again.
Even a cheeky demo after the goal as well, just a signal of intent coming out from these two teams. They mean business, but there we go.
Demo again on Jules. 5 comes back in. The defense still there, but Zen pops it. Good clear from Melbourne Avant. Jules away. 5 still forward though, but misses the ball. Dumbo does as well. This gives Jules room to breathe. Comes flying through the air. 5 misses this one too, and Order are getting away with murder here again.
And there is a glaring hole in that defense of Melbourne Avant. I was about to comment how deep some of their rotations were, but there was no rotation there at all. There was a double commit for that ball, and that left them reeling at the back.
Zen's going, I got another. Melbourne Order off to a flying start. That was before here, Gymnesto. But a 2-0, you talk about signal of intent, and it's begun again. Dumbo just off the kickoff, fakes it a little bit. Focus right, can't get anything done with it. Jules comes in to commit. And challengers don't really need to work out here, but Melbourne Avant, how do they capitalise? A slower play style. But Bango, the pass to 5. And it's blocked, it's sent once again. Melbourne Order, this is just free for them. A good save by Vi, but look at the pressure that keeps coming out. Zen follows through, Dumbo's there, goes high. But do they even need to worry right now? Jules is having the time of his life. Melbourne Order, like their name, are taking control of this game.
There's several chances there to go 3 up, why not? But there we go.
Come on, finally. But the dunk is high, Gymnesto, and once again, we go left wanting. Focus right, saves it, only to let it in the end.
Yeah, he really didn't have any boost to deal with that whatsoever. Caught on the counter, and Focusrite was rotating back, and unfortunately not enough he could do there. But Bango may have, maybe regretting that one because he could be 2-1 as opposed to being 3-0 down.
It feels like Melbourne Avant have come into Game 2 with a bit of confidence, with a bit of cockiness, maybe saying, yeah, this is fine, we can play like we did in Game 1. But as Yummy said on the desk, Melbourne Order, that was their warm-up game, and it sure shows here in game number 2. The lifeline for Melbourne Avant slowly trickling away. 3 minutes 30, 3 goals, a big ask. Starts with Bango, the shot towards net. It's wide. Where's the follow-up? Focus right. He finds nothing, and now Zen just running away with the ball. Bango with the read over the top, but Melbourne Order once again have freedom and time. The shot from Jules. Easy does it.
It's good. And I mean, look how much you pay for 2 minutes of lapse concentration in Rocket League. 4 goals down. 3 of those were in the first minute or so. But you can tell right now that the floodgates are open for Melbourne Order. They're confident. They're playing very, very fast, very, very direct as well. And it's working.
Well, you might have to start writing up that letter, Gymnesto. Take it to the post office, Avant. Try to send it. But again, defense from Melbourne Order still there. Focus right jumps up.
And now I know the post doesn't deliver on Sundays, Jake, but you're doing it.
Right, no post on Sundays, Gymnesto. 2:53, Melbourne Avant. This is going to be a bit of an impossible ask at this point. Focus right, just doesn't find the touch or the infield. Pop up once again, this favours Order. Playing around the midfield, Vive loses control, Jules pops it forward. A good bump mid-air, Bango gets demoed. But does the smoke favour it all? Vive, come on, this is you. No momentum on that ball, so we're back to square one. We're back to Order on the attack. Dangerous place now. Jules with the demo once more, but at least there was a clear.
Bango might have a chance to get something going here, but you can see the demos in back play.
There we go.
Taken out, but Bango finally finds a reply. 4-1 down, though. A lot of work for them to do.
That may have opened things up, but 3 goals still to ask here of Melbourne Avant. If they can manage to claw their way back in Game 2, then there's hope once again for the series. There's hope that Melbourne Avant can make it to our semi-finals. Otherwise, they could have sealed the deal right here. And for a team like Melbourne Order, they'll be looking pretty good going forward. Attack continues. It's Avant. And it's Vive. Slower pace of the ball. 2 minutes remaining. Jules going to dribble it himself. Just takes it all the way. Bango blocks it. Zen back on the backboard. Dumbo comes down. He gets a double touch instead. Doesn't even need his teammate.
Not even allowing Melbourne Avant a chance to build momentum whatsoever. Jules very close to doing it himself, but Zen, you can see even Dumbo was in contention there as well.
I mean, I feel like Dumbo would have gotten it anyway, but that's all right. What Zen says goes. And 5-1 is what he's spruiking right now. Things looking dire once again, Gimnesso, just as Avant look like they're clawing back.
To even just see from some of those demolitions how much slower Avant just play in general. Melbourne Order, so quick, but look at this infield pass. No one quite there to get it though.
Yeah, Bango denied once more, and it's Zen who does the denying. Focus right goes forward. Zen, mid-air bump again, just has to get Bango. Would have been one for the highlight reel. They'll still continue to play and at least get close towards that net. Dumbo just need to punch this one down. It's 5 with a small pitch against the wall. Sets up Focus right, the pace back on. Avant trying to play their speedier game. Not often you say it. 5 loses control once again. Bango can't find it. Dumbo and Jules both commit to the ball. But at the moment, it doesn't matter. Avant playing against time. And Bango playing against Dumbo. A minute left remaining. And that's going to be game 2, Gimnesso. So facing match point here on Melbourne Avant.
Yeah, we knew it was going to be a tough one for them in terms of the way that their season's gone thus far. This was a chance for redemption, but I mean, I'm not going to write them off just yet. I haven't seen enough from them, though, to say that they will get back into it. And Melbourne Order have very much from start to finish controlled this game.
You want something on the board. You want a little more from Melbourne Avant leading into game 3. A 5-1 doesn't fill you with much confidence. And a bit of a struggle of a season for the team that created the upset in the semi-finals against the Chiefs in Season 1 of the Gfinity Elite Series. Now staring down the barrel of not even making it past week 4. My oh my, how things have changed. Great goal from Bango. Now that confidence we're asking for, hopefully it comes with this.
And I mean, it's always down to Bango. He's able to sniff out a goal in any situation, making amends for what was potentially a simple dunk by his standards earlier. Maybe that could have turned the tides in that particular match, but I mean, it's a different game now. They need that confidence to go into game number 3.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful goal as well, Gimnesso. Jules set up though, and as soon as Avant score, it looks like Melbourne Order are just setting themselves up to do the same thing. Time will be counting down, and of course, we knew how this game 2 was going to end almost as soon as it started. But for Melbourne Avant, match point against them. Things looking grim, and it's Order who've switched on here in the Gfinity Elite Series Week 4.
That they have, and they've found themselves a real live wire, obviously, in what Zen's been able to bring to the team as well. But, I mean, in terms of what they were producing, they were always in front of goal. They were always shooting as well, putting pressure on Melbourne Avant.
Yep.
Melbourne Avant, that slower game style has harmed them against Melbourne Order, but you could just see that many times they were on their own line, defending, and Melbourne Order have looked so comfortable in this matchup thus far.
And it was just such a different style of game as well here, Gimnesso. Melbourne Order, they look nothing like they did in game 1. So I have to tend to agree with Yummy Cheese, man. As much as I dislike that, it was a warm-up game 1. This was just rolling with the best things in life.
And you can even see those first 2 goals, and now even slightly that third one, the defensive rotations weren't on point. They had people double committing for balls. They were caught at the back a few times, and that really didn't go too well because they found themselves, 3 goals down early on in the piece.
Yep.
And it was a while before they found a reply.
There were some good goals. There were some good opportunities. It was the double touch off the Zen, which we didn't really half expect. There are a couple of moments from Bango, though. Moments like this that go, okay, maybe. You know, you're walking through the supermarket, you're going, do I want that item? You're thinking maybe. That's what Bango is right now. He's the strawberries, except we've gotten past that stage. We know what he's capable of and the flavour, and we've gotten past that stage of needles. Yeah, I hate it as well. Support the farmers of Australia. For Bango, let's see that again in game 3.
A very pointed argument, that one. But in terms of now what they've got to do, Melbourne Avant have got to reset themselves. They've got to get themselves back into this somewhat. And I know you're looking at me. You're looking for another a pun in my shirt. I'm sure you'll find it.
Yeah. It's going to be a pretty fruity end for Melbourne Avant. Gimnesso, game 3. What can we expect? A much better start. 5 with the pass back. Where's Focus right? He's stuck in the defense. Not willing to commit up to the midfield has just opened things up for Melbourne Order. Again, that first goal, the confidence that's lost from Melbourne Avant. That's the fear here as a good save from Jules comes forward. Let's see the breach there again. Great pass. Thank you, Melbourne.
Signs of life early on for Melbourne Avant as well. Great passing play. recognition from Vibe here as well. Bango getting on the end of that, and that is a perfect entrance to game number 3.
And it was so much quicker. It was such a heads-up play from Melbourne Avant. We haven't seen that throughout the Gfinity Elite Series for season number 2. For Melbourne Avant, that opens up the series. But will it continue? You have to hope so.
Every so often you see these flashes of brilliance as well from them, and this is what they need to be careful of, that counter-attack. That defensive rotation is really catching them out very, very fast on that counter-attack, Melbourne Order.
Jules and Zen play around the midfield. Again for Avant, trying to read Order just that bit quicker. Focus right, even rotating up. Defensive player comes through. Bango's knocked out of the way before he can get a good punch on the ball. And it's Order who are left in the defense. Now, Dumbo should be able to find a big clear here. And as he drops back down, boost denied. So AV might be able to kick it back away, but Zen comes in once again. The aggressive player continues to push his way forward. Vibe matches. It's Jules, crossfield. Zen the pass down. Oh, Jules. Dumbo trying to fix it up with the backboard there. Zen's here too. Is it an open net? Focus right. This time he saves it. Avant live. 3 minutes 30. Let's see if that continues to be the case.
That was a very close call there as well from Melbourne Avant. Now they need to make sure that they don't make those mistakes again, because Melbourne Order are knocking on their door.
Shot after shot continues to come through. That net starting to get peppered up by Melbourne Order. And Bango across the field. Here we go. He pops it up. Jules interferes. Focus right. Not really the best jump on that. I'm not sure what happened there, but it opens up for Jules. He passes back, or at least crosses. Zen finds the pinch. There's no speed on it though. Zen gets bumped out by his teammate. Vibe, down he goes. But Zen just there. A lot of Melbourne Avant supporters in the crowd here today. Just hoping to see them pick up a game, if not the series. It begins here. Jules intercepts. Vibe still back in the net. Zen comes through. Great pass. But denied once more. That net's open, but Jules misses. Melbourne Avant. I think they're just happy that Order are just missing the ball.
Yeah, there's been several close calls, and that could be the difference. They could have been 2-1 down here, Melbourne Avant, but they haven't conceded thus far. But this might be their chance to put some pressure back onto Melbourne Order, who are no doubt frustrated by the fact that they haven't put those away.
It was a good read from Vibe before. Melbourne Avant keeping their enemy flustered as much as possible. Bango comes in. Vibe won't find the touch off the wall, which was what was needed. Zen not getting anywhere with the ball. He's doing his weird shenanigans once again. Out of boost, but can still pass it down. Vibe's there. The third touch doesn't connect, and this pass back is so dangerous. Melbourne Avant know that, and they take it straight home.
That was a fantastic transition from defense to attack as well, and having that clearance certainly helped. Bango, he's actually starting to come into light once again, and he's been able to put the finishing touches on a few goals now for Melbourne Avant. Is 2 goals going to be enough though, Jay?
You have to think so. The way Melbourne Order are playing in this game 3 is nothing like what we saw in number 2. Jules, denied. This is good. Melbourne Avant holding out on the defense, even the pass back. Jules pops it up for Dumbo again. The 1-2-3 is a bit too high. And Vibe will miss it too. Leaves it open to Focus Right, who pushes it up the field. Now, keep an eye on Focus Right. Seems to be going back for the defense after getting the clear. Vibe with a mid-air bump. Dumbo misses. Focus Right comes through. Doesn't even let Bango touch it. Moving around the ball a lot quicker now. Focus Right again. The pop up. Melbourne Order, still plenty of time to find those 2 goals. That first one looked a bit open. Dumbo, great pass. Back and forth game number 3 here, Gymnesto. I'm still scared. Jules sent up to space. Ask how Pluto is at the moment. As we come back down to earth, it's Bango who goes past the ball. Still very scary. Jules going to have the pace. A miss. And an opening. Melbourne Order, 1 minute remaining.
2-0, I say it time and time again. It's such a dangerous lead to have, because at any moment you can swing back in favour of the opposition, and that's exactly what's happened now. Melbourne Order, they've had chances. They just haven't put the finishing touches on it. This is match point as well for Melbourne Avant. They need to make sure they take this game and take it to another game.
And it's way too close for Melbourne Avant right now. If they get away from the defense, I have hope that they'll get another goal, secure themselves this game 3. But the pass to Zen, once again, it's on point. Jules, that's like his 4th miss. Bango in the defense, an easy save. Picks up the medal with it too. And if Jules connected with these shots, it might be a very different game number 3. Focus Right gets away with the ball. 35 seconds for Melbourne Avant to hold on. All they need is time. Unfortunately, time is a limited asset here. Demo onto Jules. Does it slow the play enough? Focus right coming in around the corner. The newbie player needs to get the ball away here. But Dumbo off the backboard. Jules again. And Melbourne Advance supporters are like, thank you, Jules, for everything you've done here today. Bango's found another opening. Lock it down. Jules will get the save, but maybe that's all they need. 5 loses contention with the ball. Dumbo with the pinch around. Hit the ground. Game 4. Thank you.
And that is exactly what Melbourne Avant needed. This is their first win in what feels like forever. And in terms of what they did right in that match, it was all through Bango. Great counter-attacking presence, and
you're right.
They were able to string some passes together. I think that's the key point we're making, is that traditionally they haven't been able to do that, and you could say that maybe there was chances for Melbourne Order to get themselves in. There was a few definite misses, and that's cost them.
Oh boy. This could just be a more exciting series than we anticipated at first. We expected an Order blowout. All the talent here at Gfinity Elite Series. They said this was going to be a quick 3-0, a 3-1. Let's see if that's the case. We need to take a breath. We're going to have a short break when we return. Game number 4 for the Melbourne v Melbourne. It's not over till it's over here at the Gfinity Elite Series. It is not over till it's over, Jim Nesso. And Avant have just shown that 2-1. Now the reverse sweep begins between Melbourne Order and the other Melbourne team.
I've certainly heard no singing to play on your anecdote.
No,
but
it hasn't come through, has it?
Certainly not for myself anyway, but from Melbourne Order's perspective, they've got themselves here. They need to finish the job that they started. Could they let Melbourne Avant back in, though? They showed signs of life in that last match.
Support is there. Oh, boy. A couple close moments already, but again, support is there for Melbourne Avant in the crowd here today. Everyone loves a good underdog story. Focusrite definitely bringing out the fans too. He's appeared on the scene, and he's made an impact. Shot there from Bango 5. He connects with it, but he's challenged. And that's a big moment there for Melbourne Order. They hold strong the defense again. Focusrite needs to get through Jules. Actually, manages to. Bango pops it up. Zen and Jules both forward. Now the pace on the ball. Vibe knows. Dumbo still in the defense. Pops back through the midfield. Zen, clear shot of goal. Pops it through one. The second denied. Focusrite, great save.
Focusrite, such a defensively minded player, at least in this series. We've seen him be the first one to track back in all the rotations. So he's certainly assisting in what has been weak for Melbourne Avant, that defense, but needs to be solid here as well because Melbourne Order, have they been?
No.
Ooh, they've been under pressure early.
Five actually should have had that. So a bit of a misread. Hits the ramp. Strange bounce, but Melbourne Order recover. Dumbo cross. Zen still with an exclamation mark, still proud. Melbourne Order right in front of net. But a good save once again. Focusrite hitting a lot of these shots here in game 4. And in number 3, we talked a lot about Jules and how he was kind of letting the side down for Melbourne Order. Have they seemed to recover well for Jules that hits the roof? It's perfect, but wide. Dumbo open net. Jules, can he fix it? No. Boy, yeah, throw that ball away. I'm not sure what's going on here. And Melbourne Order now faced with the defense once more. Boy, oh boy. That should have been a freebie. Dumbo trying to recover. This time wide again. Jules, wide again. What is going on? Order.
Have they secretly narrowed the goals? Is that what's going on?
They moved the post or something. Dumbo.
There we go.
Not anywhere near. It was actually Jules and Zen. So, an opening once more. And came off the back of a demo, Jim Nessa.
Still getting caught short at the back, though, Melbourne Avant. And I think they'll be a little bit disappointed with that. But, yeah, demo didn't help, but I don't think it was the factor.
Either way, Melbourne Order find their first goal. And through pretty calm circumstances, Bango off the wall. Jules can't find too much. Maybe an opportunity for Focusrite. The challenge goes amiss, and Zen kind of comes through to continue the ball. But Five still here, punching it through. A bit of pace and momentum back on the side of Melbourne Avant. Five over the top, good setup. Jules goes up, misses that one. Dumbo now committing forward. Who's in defense here for Melbourne Avant? Good touch by Vive. Good defense once again, getting stronger. Zen punches it towards that backboard. The corner. Nice shot, Zen.
Yeah, just picking his moment, picking his corner as well, and well-weighted. Well-weighted shot. I don't know what you're looking at. Those little player cams in the corner, and he's certainly happy with himself, but they're off to a 2-goal lead here. Melbourne Avant. The question is, can they grind themselves back into this?
Doesn't feel as secure as that game 2 Jim Nesso. Even with those 2 goals. Focusrite going to go over the ball. Maybe it does. Jules demoed, but Zen's still here. Dumbo comes back around the midfield. Possession still over the side of Melbourne Order. Hasn't stopped on that attack. Focusrite just needs to clear it, but only gets a touch off the backboard. Five doesn't find that one either. Jules just comes swinging through. Melbourne Avant still managing to hold on, so it doesn't look secure just yet. Zen even comes in off the wall. Focusrite pops it up, but no real passage of play, it feels like, just yet. Waiting for more from the ball. The one will go wide, helped by Bango. Jules comes back up. This shot ready. Double touch. Denied. Zen for the finisher. Now 2 people are committed forward, so Melbourne Avant need to put pace on right now. Bango up against the wall. But Dumbo holds on again. A good touch, but who was that to? Zen just sends it skyward. Jules comes in. Finally. Melbourne Avant need a lot here, Jim Nessa.
They certainly do, and Melbourne Order, they just need to keep missing. For Melbourne Avant, it's been very, very fortunate in some circumstances.
Oh,
that's a great save.
Five only just slips one out. Confidence booster maybe. Bango, not going to leave that one to Focusrite. That was a good move. A minute 10 remaining. Bango coming in. The touch is there. Focusrite's here. Needs the shot. Goes wide. Bango was right in the face of Jules there as well. A minute left remaining. A minute left wanting for Melbourne Avant. Wanting for what? Zen up for the ball once again. That next goal will secure it. Dumbo sends it back down towards his net. This is very dangerous. Jules will continue it forward. Zen as well. Crisis averted here, but wow. Zen comes swinging in. 35 seconds. Demo there again. Jules hits the ball backboard. They may have done enough anyway. Time running out. Bango needs this play to work right now. It's Dumbo and Jules in the defensive side. Commit forward. Vibe pops it up. Zen can't get it. Bango in again. Vibe hits that wall. Focusrite comes up a little bit too late, but either way, the defense was still strong there. And they might have just run out of time. Ball bouncing in front of them. Maybe they hadn't. Bango! All right, 10 seconds. Let's play that clock.
This is a very, very tense start. Now, I thought maybe Focusrite was a bit too defensively minded in that situation, too far back, but Bango's rotation allowed him to get back into that, and I think it's just that defensive mindset that maybe holding Avant back here. 10 seconds to work with, though.
It was also Five coming through, stealing that ball away, but that puts Melbourne Avant into this game. Bango pops it up. The steal. Zen with that touch is probably going to secure them this series. Keep it up. Focusrite in with the ball. The centre's there. Bango! Oh, you beauty! Take us to overtime. And let's see that bell swing. It's not over till it's over, Jim Nesso. I stand by that one.
Boy, oh boy. They keep the dream alive, at least for now.
This is Rocket League, Jim Nesso. I agree. The attack's here. Some defensive mistakes. Opportunity now. Focusrite comes up. Jules passes it off the Vibe. This is great for Melbourne Avant. Zen's here on the defense. Sends it to the side, but Bango's still in. Filled with confidence. Jules up for it as well, coming through the midfield. If Melbourne Avant lost here, it would be heartbreaking. Zen misses the touch. Dumbo there to recover. Look at the bullying. It's Vibe on the backside. Dumbo just sends it up to Bango again. Making full opportunity. Jules centers it. Focusrite takes a shot with the bump on the way out. Almost secures it. It's Zen who dribbles it through. It's Jules who sets it up, but to no one. 45 seconds into overtime. Five sends it up. Dumbo there. A great pass from Bango. All three members committing to this right side. Who's going to touch it, though? The pressure's still on. The push forward. Zen with a clear. It hits that back wall. He gets freedom. And the shot. Oh, Melbourne Order. They get away with it once more. But Melbourne Avant put up a good fight. So 3-1. And unfortunately, what a way for Melbourne Avant to exit the Gfinity Elite Series. And what a way for Melbourne Order to stay in it.
Boy, oh boy. They made them work for it, though, didn't they, Melbourne Avant? They had to do it the hard way in match number 4, or game number 4, should I say. But my, oh my. My, oh my. For a moment, I started to believe in Melbourne Avant. They came back at the right moments. They drove it into overtime. They kept that ball from touching the ground, and that golden goal overtime, it could be a great way to win, but a heartbreaking way to lose as well.
And anyone would invest in Melbourne Avant after that game. Anyone would believe that this could go to all 5 games. But oh boy, that last goal from Bango, and it looked like overtime was theirs. It looked like they had control. And especially after a start like this from Melbourne Order, you thought, oh, this is going to be a 3-1, done and dusted. In the end, it was, but not in the way we expected.
Well, there were flashes of brilliance from Melbourne Avant, particularly this last goal as well, just to keep the pressure up. But Bango, as I said, massive live wire for Melbourne Avant, and he got them back into it. That defensive mindset maybe hurt them in the end there, and they couldn't do anything about that. Melbourne Order, they put the finishing touch on.
I'll tell you what, a way to exit the Gfinity Elite Series, definitely. For Melbourne Avant, it was a good run. They will be out of contention for the top 4, but again, still coming back next week. However, we are going to cross over to Ash after this epic series, who is standing by with Dumbo.
Hey, Dumbo, congratulations on that win. That was a nail-biter right there at the end. Zen celebrating just now. That was pretty great. Were you guys hoping to put it away at 3-0 today, or were you happy with the way you guys played?
Oh, 100%. We were looking for a 3-0. I started throwing towards game 3, but, you know, we closed it 3-1 in then, so happy with that.
So what happened in game 3 and 4? You guys, was it a bit of complacency or overconfidence? What was it?
I think it started with me putting my chair back and laying down at the beginning of game 3, and we ended up conceding a goal, sat back up, ended up throwing a bit more, so, but, you know, win's a win, so.
Yeah, well, congratulations on your win. It got you guys there. So you're up against Chiefs next week, but they don't have their core roster. Are you going to use that to your advantage?
100%. We need to win that game to make top 4, so, you know, we're going to come out strong. Yep.
All right, well, best of luck. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you.
Back to you, Luke.
A very honest Dumbo there, right, David? I mean, that last goal there, how epic was that from Bango? The whole crowd erupted. It was huge, yeah?
Everyone was on the edge of their seats. I can't believe it happened. We were saying with 20 seconds left.
We were getting ready. We were getting ready. Here we go.
Talking about our MVPs. And then Bango does it, and he went off.
He got every goal as well.
7 goals across the series.
Huge game for Bango. Let's get into some analysis, talk about what happened in that last match.
It was a big series. And we're going to start with a Jules goal here coming across. But what was so good about Order when they were scoring was their team play. Look at this, 1, 2, 3. That was how they started it off. Even in game 1, they didn't really feel like they were quite there yet, but they were still able to get the ball to each other, and that was what made the difference right at the start. Games 1 and game number 2, they did incredibly well, really when Zen stepped up. And they were able to hold it out. Game 3 and 4, both of those were really weird, and you can't, I just don't understand what happens to Order. Every single time they sort of just start crumbling mid-series, and this is why they keep going to game 5. They just miss goals, they miss opportunities.
But I mean, they really probably couldn't have predicted that Bango magic as well. We're going to take a look at that, one of the goals we saw from Bango just then right now, I think. Let's have a look. But I mean, he really, we were talking about what a player he's been in the past, and this is the form we're talking about.
0-second goal, proving that he's still got it, that he can still be at the top of Oceanic Rocket League. And any time that he was close to the net, you think, okay, he can get a goal. It wasn't even his best goal of the series. There was that one on the corner that no one else would score, but Bango managed to find the angle.
Yeah, congrats, Bango. Tough for Avant there, but great stuff by Order. Time to announce our MVP for today's first match, thanks to Astro headsets. Yummy, yummy, yummy cheese, man. Who are your selections?
1 point.
Yummies, thanks.
You know, you have to go over. You talked about Jules all season. He's had a good season. Shout out to him. But even though he didn't win, you have to give the 2 points to Bango. He had a big series.
He did.
7 goals.
7 goals, huge.
And the man of the hour, the guy we've been talking about all day, finally comes through for Order. Zen with the win, with the goals. Zen comes out as the MVP, scoring 6 goals across the series and also being a part of so many different plays. A couple of opportunities that he missed, but we can't hold that against him. He's back. He's the important man throughout the rest of this season.
Oh, he's definitely a linchpin for that team. Even just an energetic level, you can see him holding them all up. Well, congratulations, Zen. You are our Astro Headsets MVP for the match between Order and Avant in Week 4. Plenty more edgier seat Rocket League action coming up. Perth Ground Zero and Brisbane Deceptors are up next. We're expecting a close one, but on the way out, it's the next episode in our Path to Pro series, giving you the edge thanks to Alienware.
I'm Yummy Cheese Man, Gfinity Elite Series Rocket League analyst, and I'm here to take you on a journey on your path to pro, thanks to Alienware. Being an analyst isn't all about the dashing hair and the charming smile. Research is key. Each analyst will have their own research style, which will dictate how they prepare before a competition. For example, when preparing for a broadcast, I'll go back and revise replays for previous matches, giving me the chance to look in depth into what each player is doing on the pitch. They might be defending the title, but they haven't been defending their net. I keep tabs on all the player statistics and note who is having an exceptional season, or who may be down on their luck. I also speak with players to gain a better perspective. Knowing the players, their backgrounds and their stories can help frame your analysis of their performance and create a greater story across the season. Many factors outside the game can shape what happened within a match. Knowing the wider context of a player's circumstance allows an analyst to give greater insight into the depth of a performance. I hope to see you all joining me on the desk in the future, and good luck on your path to pro.
We create machines that make every experience more intense and real. With Intel Core processors so powerful, you can redefine reality. Because the best feature of a gaming machine is the power to make you forget it's there.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
Like it's nothing. Come on, better kick it. Oh, good job, team. Good job.
Give it up for Perth Crowd Zero!
I've been playing Rocket League since the game released, which is roughly 3 and a bit years ago, I think. I like it because it's very similar to my favourite sport, football.
What a setup for Walcott!
My name Walcott came from my favourite football player who played for Arsenal, who is also my favourite football team, Theo Walcott. I like him because he's really fast. I've been playing computer games all my life, but I only really decided to take it competitively when I realised how good I was at Rocket League. I'm competing alongside Lim and Ghost. They're both really great guys. We have a laugh as a team together, but when we're on the pitch, we also take the game really seriously and we all put in 100%.
Walcott as well being hyper-aggressive. The finish from Ghost, he does it himself.
Being captain of Ground Zero is great to me. I get to boss around the boys and make fun of them. We put in a lot of hours as a team every week, 40 hours a fortnight as a group, and then also on top of that we have to all do our individual training to stay on top of the game. I think we're a great team who's underachieved so far, and I really believe we can take it to the best. I think we can definitely take out the Elite Series this time.
The shot on, this could be the one. Walcott out of nowhere. What an incredible play.
Quiet achiever for Ground Zero this season, racking up a swag of goals for his Perth team. We'll see Walcott in action very soon. Now, don't forget, Alienware is giving you the chance to win a brand new M15 laptop this season. It's the thinnest and lightest 15-inch Alienware gaming notebook ever. You can enter by sending through a selfie from the Alienware activation zone here at the arena, or watching our coverage at home. Go to gfinityesports.com.au for all the details on that. Next up, we have Perth Ground Zero taking on Deceptors. Yummy, let's have a look at the Perth Ground Zero lineup right now. Few fans in today. It's looking pretty solid. We've got Ghost, Lim and Walcott. What do you reckon?
Another high potential team, and they're putting in the work. That's what we want to see. Walcott and Ghost have been leading the charge this season. Ghost, in fact, scoring 1 goal a game. The only person to join him outside of the Chiefs and Sydney Raw lineups is Jake on the opposite team. And the only one thing that we need to see from Ground Zero this season right now is that we haven't seen much from Lim, and I would have considered him the best player on the team, the player to get them into that finals. So he could be the guy today that really gets them through.
Yeah, we might see him stepping up. Ghost led the way for Ground Zero last week, though, scoring a vital goal in Game 4 overtime to really put Melbourne Order to the test, didn't he, Yummy?
A lot of vital goals, and this is such a good one.
Yeah.
That is where you expect him to see. He gets forward of the ball and is able to redirect them perfectly. That's not even the one time we've seen it. I think we have another goal here where we see a very similar thing coming out from Ghost. He's their goal scorer. He's the one that if he's on fire, you'll see a lot of goals coming out from Perth Ground Zero. That game, the overtime winner, gets them to Game 5, and even though they didn't win that series, that was so important for them to get that point. That puts them one step ahead of where Order is right now, and gives them so much more of an opportunity to get into the finals.
An important game for both these teams. Their opponents today, Brisbane Deceptors, copped a reality check last week. Fans in today. Last week was rough. They went up against the ruthless Sydney Chiefs. This lineup is looking pretty good, though. So Steve, Jake and Yeatsy, have they got the goods to take down Ground Zero? What do you reckon?
Well, we saw the interview with Steve last week, and he stepped up. That was so crucial. He's such a good player. He's so fast. He can do a lot on that pitch, and as a team, they're looking maybe like the 3rd best team right now, with the potential to climb up higher. If they just get into the finals, which I think they will, then they'll be good. And this win right now, if they win this series, they are guaranteed top 4.
Well, there was a silver lining last week for Brisbane in what was a rough game. Thanks to Yeatsy's goal in Game 3 against Chiefs, it showed what they're capable of producing, didn't it?
Yeah, it really did. And this play, this is what shows that they could be a top team, top, grand finalists. That passing play out from the defense, able to get this redirect from Yeatsy as well. That's a tough angle. It looks easy, but that's because Yeatsy is able to just do so much with the ball right there. They're getting those passing plays off. They're working as a team, just one step away from beating the top.
I'm excited for this match. I think we're in for some epic Rocket League action. So please put your hands together as we bring out the teams. Go nuts for Perth Ground Zero! Ghost, Lim and Walcott. And make some noise for their opponents today. Go nuts for the Brisbane Deceptors. Steve, Jake and Yeatsy. Looking forward to a tight match live. Gameplay is coming up. Don't go anywhere. Ground Zero and Deceptors up next on the Gfinity Elite Series.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
3 days ago, Coda announced that Zero would join Cell 7 in the upcoming Soma Worlds tournament. After so many league victories, switching teams this close to the tournament appears to be a deliberate move to destroy Coda's chance at the title.
We are gearing up for our second Rocket League match here at the Gfinity Elite Series, brought to you by Astro Headsets and Iced Coffee. Coming up soon, another chance to earn some currency in our Gfinity Instant Loyalty Reward. When you see the drop code at the bottom of the screen, you don't have long to visit the website. So get to gfinity.instantloyalty.com. Keep your eyes peeled for that. You can see our teams getting in the zone there. A big match for Ground Zero and Deceptors. There's just 1 point separating them in the standings. This will be a tight one. Do you have a call on which way this is going to go, Yummy?
Well, I'm not willing to rule out Ground Zero. There's a lot on the line and they can play incredibly well, but I have to give it to Deceptors.
Yeah?
They've looked so good. They look so good throughout the entire season. They've got the crowd behind them as well. And I have to say, it's a fantastic crowd today.
All right, well, we'll see who's going to take this second match of the day right now. It's time to throw it over to the most dynamic duo since Brangelina. Take it away, Jake and Jim.
You're definitely getting better at those introductions, Luke. Thank you again. Jim Nesso, Hysterics here. We're about to jump right into the next series. And for Ground Zero, they've come all the way from Perth. It's been a big journey. Remember, same as Singapore. That's how I compare it. For a team like Brisbane Deceptors, I mean, they just flew down. It's so sunny up in Queensland. Coming back here, they're like, well, it's fine, you know.
Well, the question is it going to be sunny on stage for them? That's the question. I mean, tough match here.
Right.
Proving ground for both these two teams in the sense that I guess we get to see whether or not they're reaching that maturity stage of their gameplay. But, I mean, I'm keen to see this contest. You can see these players on stage. They're amped. They're ready for it.
Yeah, they're definitely ready for it. However, I hope you are too, because right now, again, we're going to reward you for sticking around. If you head to gfinity.instantloyalty.com and use the drop code on your screen. This time it's G Demolition after watching that spicy game before. You can earn some currency like I have. $7 now, by the way, Jim. You're on 9. You only got limited time to go to the website and enter that drop code and get paid once more. You receive 5 instant for each drop code all weekend. And don't worry about missing the action, because you can keep watching the match from the rewards website. And this one is going to be great. It's Ground Zero. It's Deceptors going head to head. This match could go either way. You have the experience of Jake, but Lim, the leadership there as well, even though Walcott is, I guess, the quote-unquote shot caller of this team.
That's right. I mean, they're going to really be looking to the experience of Jake, again, to guide them in this match, because we started to see some, I guess, I'm going to term it again, flashes of brilliance from Gitzy and, of course, Steve as well. And they're really coming into their own. And I think, you know, less of the burden of expectation is on Jake as you go through the season, and that's due to the team as a whole gaining experience.
It's going to be a big one. Ground Zero taking on the Deceptors. And this will also define if Brisbane Deceptors can make it into the top 4 for Perth Ground Zero. They need this win, just like Order did. And this will start their track as well. For Ground Zero, a disappointing last week, ending 3-2, but they got the point. They got themselves up the leaderboard, and now they want to go further.
Brisbane Deceptors, on the other hand, they came up against stiff opposition, but it was a learning experience for them. Let's see what they've learned in that week. They've had to prepare for Ground Zero, and they're playing direct early on, and maybe that's the approach that they need to maintain.
Yeah, Lim will block it away, but again, you see the pressure that can come through. Steve won't find Ghost midair, leaves the ball to a bounce. Jake, an easy read once again. For the Brisbane Deceptors, confidence and being that top 4 team, as Yummy Cheeseman said, they have to prove it here. A bit of a standstill with Lim. It's going to be an important trade-off as Perth Ground Zero now able to clear the ball, but Yeatsy comes back into the midfield from the corner. Steve again, great pass, takes a shot. Instead, bump. Oh, the bump was what made it.
There we go, finding the net very early on in the piece, but you can see just how direct and aggressive they're playing in an instance. No chance for the defence to clear that whatsoever. Great bump.
I thought it was, I think it might have been Walcott that came out the back of him. But either way, for Brisbane Deceptors, that's the opener. And a minute in, demolition from Lim. See you later. Ghost takes a shot on net, but Steve's still alive. So we'll continue forward. Walcott punching the ball up. Towards that backboard, they'll leave it for now, but again, the aggression from Lim still shows. Pushing forward, ground zero, those extensive pass plays. Haven't been seen just yet. Ghost and Walcott, the ones that push forward. Walcott rotates back, but eventually wants to play with the dribble, leaves it over to Ghost. Getting faster and faster here. Steve dribbling the ball through. Lim gets back into the net in time. That clear over the top of Jake towards net. Lim can't fake it out or get Yeatsy out of the way. Walcott sets it up once more. Close opportunity from Perth ground zero.
Need to be careful though. It could be countered quite quickly, and the passing game from Brisbane Deceptors week on week is improving, so the potential for them to get that ball upfield quickly is always a threat.
Goes to Walcott. Lim coming in strong. Crucial touch from Jake again. Steve towards net. The full length of the field. Brisbane Deceptors do this week on week. Counterplay to come through. Lim doesn't find a touch. This gives Yeatsy an opening and ready for Steve. The shot's on net and nicely done.
Very, very nice finishing piece. The icing on what was a great cake. And Steve there, not really much Ghost could do. He was completely wrong-footed.
Showing they can have the cake and eat it too, Jim Nesso. 2-0 up, game one. The perfect start for Brisbane Deceptors. You can see how powerful they are in their opening games. A bit of a touch-up. A miss there. Opportunity for ground zero. Yeatsy. Read it perfectly. Ghost comes in off the wall, left to Walcott. He's not going to find the perfect touch, and this means more time to play with for Brisbane Deceptors.
That being said, still potential for Perth ground zero here. We called them last week as grind zero because they are prepared to take matches to 5 games if they need to try and sniff out wins, and if they can do that here, it'd be fantastic. If they can get away from Brisbane Deceptors cleanly, maybe take a 3-0. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done before that even occurs, but they're a team that never give up. So at any moment, they're looking to strike.
Some good passes there from the other side. Ghost now has to run away. That's what we needed to see. Ghost in form.
And that's all due to just some defensive confusion from Brisbane Deceptors. You can see that that touch from Ghost really caught the entire defence rotating the wrong way. And a nice goal for Perth ground zero to tighten things up.
Well, 2 minutes remaining. Maybe not all hope lost in this first game for Perth ground zero until this goal comes through. And it becomes tricky once again, Jim Nesso.
Yeah, just capitalising on the fact that they had pushed numbers forward. And great work from Brisbane Deceptors. And I think that really speaks to the fact that they're always dangerous when they're on that ball.
3-1, Brisbane Deceptors know how to play with time. Let's see them do it. We'll continue that aggression again.
Oh, no.
An open net for Steve. Just these kickoff goals again.
Yeah, Lim just missing that too. That could have been a chance to clear it, but
you have
Deceptors 4-1 up.
Yeah, you have a choice there. I mean, you save the potential shot from the net, or you commit to the wall, and he chose, unfortunately, the wrong option in that situation. So Brisbane Deceptors climb ahead again. Demolition doesn't mean too much here.
Even then, a collision in defence has meant that just for a moment they were under pressure. They have recovered from it though, Perth ground zero, so they need to start building those passes, getting themselves back into this match. They've looked very quiet by their own standards. Brisbane Deceptors very much in the ascendancy.
Top 4 team. Yummy says they sit 3rd at the moment, technically. I tend to agree with that. Perth ground zero can sit 4th, but right now it's a Deceptors game. And he can't get that. Jake just hits that perfectly too.
It's so much time. So much time to do that. And Perth ground zero, very, very slow start from them.
Okay, many games to decide what Perth ground zero are doing. They like the all 5 game series, Jim Nesso. See if they find another. Not sure what happened there from Ghost or Lim. This game 1, okay, send it home. It's done. I think Perth ground zero, they need to recover from this. Let's take a break. let's get back into the vibe we're feeling and maybe more towards the start of the game.
Yeah, look, that one there, completely capitulated. Absolutely gone. And 6-1 the score. I don't know, it's a very rough drop for them in the first match. They are slow starters, so positive is that they are able to get themselves into matches. But I don't know, against Brisbane Deceptors, I don't think they're a team that you can take a couple games to warm into.
Even goals like that should have been coming through. And ground zero, many opportunities. And for the Deceptors, the strong start we expected. Walcott punches it down, good. Let's get back into it. Let's get ourselves ready for game 2.
Yeah, and this is what they needed to do maybe a little bit earlier on in the piece, was just maintain some pressure. Funnily enough, it was Brisbane Deceptors experiencing some defensive woes, and that has led to that ball just lingering far too long in the box.
And again, it comes down to that one play. It comes down to, is Lim feeling it? And in game 1, there were just so many moments. Walcott, a good pass back. Lim won't find it, hits the crossbar, comes back down. Still with the way things were going, there was an opportunity, but again, look towards that game 2. For Brisbane Deceptors, I think it has to be noted that this team has gotten better each and every week. This game looks pretty clean. There were just a couple of moments in the defense there they struggled, but the Deceptors shaping up to get themselves into the semi-final. Remember, this series will secure it for them, so one game closer now to making that a reality.
Certainly looking, as we said, to just capitalise as much as they can. And maybe they've taken the foot off the gas a little bit in the end of this game, number 1. But I don't know if you can do that against the Perth Ground Zero side, who very much thrive on confidence and momentum.
Game 1. Boy, oh boy, has it been up and down. 9 goals in total scored by both teams. And the catch-up story continues from Perth Ground Zero. Brisbane Deceptors, we know where they stand. We now want to know what Ground Zero are going to do about it. Game 1 to the Deceptors. Game 2, who knows?
Very much all about the business as well, Brisbane Deceptors. So for them, it was from start to finish a very, very clinical display. But I mean, there was a lot of mistakes being made from Perth Ground Zero, particularly in their defence, and that is what cost them those kickoff goals.
I mean, Steve had 7 shots by the end of that game. Steve pulled up a 625 in his first game against Perth Ground Zero. If that doesn't set the tone for the series, I don't know what does.
No. And I think what set the tone was definitely these early defensive blips from Perth Ground Zero. Now, we said they're a team that can work that way into matches, but I don't know, if you give your opposition too much room, it really makes it difficult to try and grind your way back in.
Brisbane Deceptors made sure that Perth Ground Zero was shut out. As soon as their defense came back up, there were some issues there. Again, recovery, I sound like a broken record, but there needs to be some semblance of recovery, of a different type of game from Perth Ground Zero coming up.
I think the beauty of the best of 5, though, is you have the ability to just mentally distance yourself from a game 1, particularly a poor showing like that. So that's what they'll be doing right now. They'll be writing it off and going, all right, now we need to turn things back around in our favour and try and turn the tide back on us.
So many different stories, though, from a game 1. I mean, game 1 hasn't really set the tone here in the Gfinity Elite Series. Yes, it has kind of started the ball rolling as a game 1 always does, but it doesn't mean it's definitive. And I guess Steve being the star player right now for Brisbane Deceptors, how do you shut him down? Because coming into game 2, Perth Ground Zero still bringing the heat, but Brisbane Deceptors, they've been in the frying pan for a while, and they don't look like they're done just yet.
No, they're very much on the boil right now. And in terms of what they're able to do in damage, they really do open the floodgates, particularly with some of these goals. And now it's on Perth Ground Zero to just try and stabilise in game number 2.
Jake willing to take the commitment there for the 50-50. He challenges the demos. Ghost is just angry. That's about the second demo. He goes for Yeatsy. That was Lim, actually, who ends up going for Yeatsy. So aggression already coming from Perth Ground Zero, trying to change up their play style. Yeatsy would dribble it around 1, but not 2. Lim with the pass, short coming a little bit there. Walcott sends it towards net. Yeatsy directs it away. Pressure on Perth Ground Zero. A totally different team is shown here. Now Jake has to adapt. Ghost gets demoed himself, but what's the dribble play? Jake sets it up. Oh boy, this man's been international, and you see why. Steve will bang it in the end.
Brilliant individual play there just to put pressure immediately on the defence. And yes, Walcott denied him, but he could not deny Steve whatsoever. Great follow-up play from him. And now they find themselves the opening goal With Ground Zero, though, positive signs from them. They were very, very positive, very, very direct in the way they played. Unlucky not to get a few touches and connecting passes there.
I want to see it continue, though. I don't just want to see an opening play that doesn't look successful, though, so they stop. Steve doesn't get control of the ball. This is a commitment forward, but Jake receives the pass only for Walcott to jump in front of the ball. Now for Ground Zero, it's up to them to keep that momentum. Steve up with the pass to Jake instead from the corner. Doesn't reach him. Bounce, almost does. Goes up to Walcott. Limb forward as well. Look at everyone here from Ground Zero. Steve takes the demo on the nose, but Jake's already gotten the ball up. Keeps it going. The flow still there. Brisbane Deceptors in front of net. A save in the end. Jake runs back to midfield, eventually keeping the play away from his net.
Need to be careful though, Brisbane Deceptors. They can't commit too many numbers forward. They will get you on the counter.
Oh, here we go. Jim Nesso.
I was ready.
Oh, I'm not sure, because Steve's always there. I'm not ready for Steve.
Nobody's ready for Steve, and just brilliant awareness from him as well. That ball really did pop up for him nicely. No one from Perth Ground Zero could actually deal with it, and for them, it was tough.
Definitely was tough. 3 minutes remaining. Deceptors on the kickoff. It's just happened again, but Walcott, that save might keep them around. Lim does the same thing. Look how aggressive they're being once more. Brisbane Deceptors in front of net. The pop there. Yeatsy comes close. 3 quick shots. Perth Ground Zero survive. Now for the goal. When does it come through? Is it now? Steve denies once more. Deceptors hold strong in their defense. They translate that immediately. Steve bumps Walcott. You cheeky, cheeky devil. And Deceptors rush ahead once more.
Yeah, he's just gone through and left the gate wide open for Yeatsy to capitalise on that. And that is, as you said, very cheeky, but Perth Ground Zero certainly don't think so. They need to find themselves just to stabilise a goal now to really make sure that the floodgates don't open for Brisbane Deceptors.
Look, they've changed up their play. Ground Zero have changed up everything about this game, but it just doesn't seem to be enough. Lim, direction off that backboard. They keep it alive, but again, for how long?
Yeah, I like the aggressive plays coming up from Perth Ground Zero, those demolitions, those bumps. Maybe they need to try that to get Brisbane Deceptors off their game. Get them out of their rhythm. Just do something to try and stop them.
Well, the demos have been coming through a lot more in Game 2. Now an opportunity. Walcott comes down. Yeatsy, the bouncer. He can't read it. That confidence, maybe a little bit earlier in Game 2.
Exactly what they needed. As we said, this was that stabilising goal that really gives them confidence, that allows them to just reset themselves somewhat. They've got 2 minutes to work with, plenty of time in Rocket League to make things happen. So just some patience now that needs to be shown after that first goal.
Yeah, Walcott's the voice of this team. He should be amping them up right now. Confidence seems to be the key word. Jake interrupts the passage of play. This might open it up. Lim doesn't find the save, but Walcott does. Another saviour medal to add to the list. Ghost bullied around. Opening here for Jake. Walcott around the goal square. Steve might not be up for this. Lim comes forward. The challenge still through. Tries to hit it back against the wall. For Ghost, this bounce so favourable. But Walcott just didn't expect it, so he wasn't up. Still brings it back around the recovery play. Jake denies. 6 around for today. Lim. Opportunities here for Ground Zero. Still punishing, staying on the attack. Walcott comes in, angle, a bit backwards. Yeatsy gets demoed. For Ghost. Has to deal with 2 members. Pulls back, has to recover. 1:13, Jim Nesso. Walcott can't find it either.
I was going to say, Perth Ground Zero just need to make sure that they capitalise on this period of pressure. They've been locking Brisbane Deceptors into their own half and need to make sure that they need to get the next goal. They need to be the ones to score, otherwise it's going to be not a lot of time to work with for
Look,
them.
it was Ghost there with the angle. It was Walcott there with the angle. Playing from that cross position on the right-hand side. Jake punches it down. Ghost, great clear. Yeatsy lobs it off to Steve. But there's going to be Ghost coming through here. If Ground Zero can find this play, they might be able to get back into Game 2, but a 2-goal lead, 30 seconds remaining. Attack now for Deceptors. Might be enough. Jake's here. A great infield. Steve, it's the first time he's been off track in that shot, but again, still playing with time.
Not a lot of time left for Perth Ground Zero, and Brisbane Deceptors have looked quite good. They've been able to just make sure that they're absorbing the pressure Perth Ground Zero are putting on them. Perth Ground Zero, a great job in just locking Brisbane Deceptors in. You do need to get the finishing touches in that goal, though.
Well, Gimnesso, the finishing touches didn't end up coming through, did they? Brisbane Deceptors take another. And on the cusp of another potential 3-0 or 3-1 here in the Gfinity Elite Series, Brisbane Deceptors showing why they're some of the top dogs.
And I think it's that carrot having, been dangled in front of them. They lock in their top 4 slot. They lock in themselves for those semi-finals at the very least. And I think that for them is what they're working their way towards.
Let's hope we find ourselves in more than just a Game 3, more than just a 3-0. We find out right after this.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
Brisbane Deceptors showing their might here in the Gfinity Elite Series. 2-0 to start off against Perth Ground Zero. We now ask if they can take it all the way. The first 3-0 here today in week number 4, or if the comeback starts for Perth Ground Zero. There's a lot of question marks on everyone's head about Perth Ground Zero at the moment, but reverse sweep now in the cards if they can mount it.
Yeah, and I think Brisbane Deceptors, they're showing their credentials here at the moment, as we said, as a top 4 team. So for them to just lock themselves into the finals, that would be a fantastic achievement for them. Obviously, Jake with 2 young players by his side.
It would.
They're growing week on week, and they're looking good.
Let's find out. Game 3 awaits. And it's the Deceptors on the defense to start things off. What I'm looking for here is for Perth Ground Zero not to do things like that. The demo comes through, so they're safe for now. Actually, respawn for Jake working out on this side. He pops it up, but he doesn't have any boost. Might not matter at the end. Perth Ground Zero, we're asking for the impossible. Good infield to Jake. He pops it up. Look at the strength and power of play. We'll keep it slow for now, but Brisbane Deceptors playing with the defense of Ground Zero.
Perth Ground Zero just putting some pressure on themselves, having to come into game 3 now and try and reverse sweep it, get that win. It's like leaving your assignment to the last minute to finish it off and still somehow passing. Hopefully they can scrape something together here and get themselves back into this match, because we know that they're a team that's on the up. They've got some potential. They haven't shown it yet, but that bump.
Oh, the weight as well. Steve probably was going to be the one to dunk it down. Will it matter in the end? Can't get away with the old dog ate my homework. Not in this one. Steve comes back up. Yeatsy. Control around the ball. Lim doesn't end up winning the challenge. Jake actually has to recover. Deceptors not getting on the board to start things off is good news for Perth Ground Zero. Let's see if it changes. Taking Yeatsy from around the side. Steve's here. Steve has missed 2 now. Let's find out if the crowd support with Ground Zero makes that extra little bit. Jake commits forward. Yeatsy now here as well. Things heating up. Steve there for the shot. An opening with the clear. It's now in Ground Zero's court.
Need to be careful though, Jake. You can't play with your food like that. Well, Perth Ground Zero have a chance to put some pressure on Brisbane Deceptors.
Walcott comes forward. It's Yeatsy with the easy defense. Lim slows the ball down. The dribble still here. Pinch out. Steve on the defense. Jake doesn't get the ball for Ground Zero. This is good. Walcott to Lim. The first opening's the best.
And that is exactly what Perth Ground Zero needed. They needed some positivity. They needed to get their names on the board first, and finally they've been able to do that.
That's Lim who strikes. 3 minutes remaining. Is this a change in pace, or is it a mistake by Brisbane Deceptors? Jake, there, yes. Oh, yes.
How many times have we seen that, though? These kickoffs have really been what have troubled Perth Ground Zero. And they concede one almost immediately after all the hard work of getting that first.
Rushing in for the double commit. Brisbane Deceptors see it. They know what to do. One apiece. The Deceptors are 3-0 on the cards. Still pressuring that in game 3. Steve, great pass back to Yeatsy. He bounces it. Jake going back as well. Hang on. Hold the phone. Lim gets a big clear and Jake can't do anything with it. Steve being precarious around the front of that net. Jake with a good pass over to Steve again. Yeatsy receives the 1-2-3. Not fast enough for Lim. We're back where we started.
Brisbane Deceptors, though, looking to find something, looking to just lock Perth Ground Zero into that defense, but Perth Ground Zero have dealt with it well. They need to build again and find that next goal.
Jake pops it down. Still on the defense. Lim here with the angle. Hits a crossbar. Comes down. Ghost comes in as well. Walcott needs to get this challenge off, but he goes over it. Jake passes it back. It's set up nicely, but Yeatsy has an old friend in the crossbar. Hits the corner. Ghost dribbles. And they won't find anything just yet. Walcott comes in as well. Great pass to Lim, but he's in the wrong angle. And again, we're reset.
Both teams have had chances to just streak away from their opposition. Haven't been able to find them yet. And I think that just speaks to the tension in the room.
It's bad when you can't get the streakers. You can't give them that fine. The centre's still there. Steve, what a banger of a clear. Hits the crossbar, and again. Feels like we go back to that set square one. Walcott, the ball hits back and down. Yeatsy silences it forever.
Just separating the yeet from the chaff as he does get that second goal for Brisbane Deceptors.
Walcott, there's just such an unfortunate touch. Even if it went up, you're happy with it, but it makes its way right in front of the net. Is that everything for Perth Ground Zero? Do they have more? Crowd seems to think so. Deceptors back on that attack. Walcott, good pass to Ghost, but can he get there? The net might be open. Yeatsy still here. Hits up, hits down. Lim Can't find it. Walcott keeps it in play. That was it. That was Perth ground zero. They're now left on the defense.
Have chances to put that away. They couldn't quite find the momentum to push it into the back of the net. And is that going to be the one that costs them? Because they certainly found plenty of chances. But again, just those last touches have haunted them.
Jake doesn't have enough boost, but it's still on the backboard. The silencing kill there. Not going to come through from Steve. Lim with the dribble. This is it. And again, 30 seconds remaining. 2-1. They need to stay into this. The close pass play. Walcott with the dribble. Trying to take it through. The bump there. The touch. Lim ran into Walcott. And Perth ground zero. Is that all she wrote?
Still got some time to work with here, though, and they need to deal with this ball from Jake first. 10 seconds left. Can they build something, Jake?
Lim sends it up. Yeatsy here on the backboard. A massive clear. And that touch was not favourable whatsoever. Ground zero. It comes to a crushing halt. Are they out of the Elite Series as well? Who knows? But at this point, as that hits the ground, Deceptors say 3-0. We'll take it.
They find themselves a win, and as we said, week on week, they look better and better and better. They've, I guess, earned it this time in the sense that we said Perth ground zero were going to be a great matchup for them. We saw things as being super even in their contest, and, well, Brisbane Deceptors definitely capitalising on some defensive mistakes made by ground zero.
Yeah, they definitely were. The Deceptors looked powerful there. They looked like a top 3 team. They looked like they could potentially make it to the finals with a couple of upsets thrown in the mix. But Jim Nesso this game showed what ground zero can be. It was just consistency that came down to it at the end of the day.
When they tighten things up, they're a great side. It's just a few times there, and even then, that one mistake that had been haunting them, just those kickoffs, the pressure Brisbane were able to build off them, is what separated them and got them back into that match.
And the Brisbane Deceptors, they'll take a win. They'll take it 3-0. We're going to throw over to Ashes with my favourite name, Jim Nesso. I don't know if it's about you. Of course, she's standing by with it. Jake.
Thank you so much. Congratulations on that win, Jake. Last week, you guys lost to the Chiefs, but this time you've made an awesome win, 3-0. What changed between last week and now?
Well, again, Chiefs are a really good team and they really take you outside of your comfort zone. We were feeling a lot more comfortable today and able to play the game we wanted to.
Well, Steve played very well, but I hear he's a little bit quiet on comms. How was his chat? How's his chat been lately?
He's getting better. He's getting better. We heard him all 3 games this week. It's sick.
So this is a very vital game. It looks like you guys are going to be in the playoffs. Someone's singing happy birthday. Is it your birthday?
It was yesterday, yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, yes, it was a very vital game. You guys are now potentially going to be in the playoffs. You're up against Raw next week. How are you feeling? How do you think you're going to go up against them?
It should be fun against Raw because they're very similar to Chiefs, and I know that they'll really bring it. We're hoping we can really be confident against them and show them how good we are.
All right. I look forward to that next week. Thank you so much.
Sweet. Thanks.
Back to you, Luke.
Yeah, nice work, Jake. And the Deceptors, I mean, just too good for ground zero today, hey?
It was a very aggressive matchup. Both of them going toe-to-toe, head-to-head in attack. And that really favours Brisbane Deceptors. You have Steve, who was just not missing a single net. Right. You had Jake, who was getting a lot of setups and able to just open up those opportunities. And really, it was decided in Game 2.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's find out who our Astro MVP is for that match. Yes, it's MVP time between Deceptors and Ground Zero. Mr. David Lane, take us through your selections.
I have to give a quick shout out to Lim. He did step up today. Game 1 was shaky, but in games 2 and 3, he really pulled ahead. But in the end, you look at Brisbane Deceptors and you look at Jake, who set up all those goals, and the MVP of the match was Steve. 6 goals across the entire match. Yeah. He scored goal after goal. In the first game, he scored 4 goals, 7 shots. He was ridiculous. And anytime you gave him a single opportunity, he just didn't miss. Normally you see someone like Order, they get the ball wide, it doesn't go in, but he was completely accurate today, and this is a sign of things to come.
Yeah, we saw him talking earlier. He really has gone full beast mode. Exciting to see where he goes into the finals from this. So Steve is our Astro Headsets MVP for the match between Deceptors and Ground Zero for Week 4 of the Gfinity Elite Series. Righto, guys, we are going to a break right now. Viewers on 10 Peach are set to leave our Rocket League coverage Now you can continue watching live at gfinytyesports.com.au or see a full replay at template.com.au. If you're staying with us, we'll be back with more Rocket League in just a moment. It's bitter rivals Sydney Roar and Sydney Chiefs up next. See you soon.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
Sydney Roar are looking strong. This shows you what calibre of a team they are. I'd love to see the Roar against the Chiefs.
Our rivalry with Chiefs is a pretty big one here in Australia, here in Oz. And they're a very good team, definitely three very good individual players, some of the best that we've seen, maybe some of the best in the world. We've definitely got the upper hand over them the past couple of games we versed them.
They try to play hyper-aggressive, sort of, like really in your face, not really care that much about like defense or like intelligent plays. So hopefully we've like improved enough to like beat them.
I think I'm looking to upset Torsos the most. I know that he's the one that sort of, you know, wears his heart on his sleeve sort of thing. So I think that, you know, if we get under his skin, it's good fun to you know, make fun of him.
Yeah, they've beaten us in OCE like pretty much the whole time. But I think after being to RLCS, I've got a lot of confidence that we can just beat anyone now. Coming fourth and just, you know, we beat NRG overseas, so I think we can easily take OCE.
The rivalry between us is pretty strong. I feel like, yeah, we're definitely the two top teams in Australia at the moment, and we butt heads.
What an epic shot that was. The division runs deep between Sydney Roar and their arch rivals, the Chiefs. Welcome back to the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. Let's recap what's happened so far in week 4 of Rocket League, brought to you by Dare Ice Coffee and Astro headsets. Yummy, let's have a look at these results so far. Some pretty one-sided games, let's be honest, is what we've seen, haven't we?
Well, the Melbourne Order versus Avant, that could have been a lot closer.
I mean, it was all banker.
Almost went to game 5. Avant almost brought it back, but when it came to the Scepters versus Zero, that was one-sided. This one should hopefully be incredibly close.
Yeah, we're looking at two top teams going up against each other. We're going to look at Sydney Roar's lineup first, Yummy. They were a class above Melbourne Avant last week. No surprise, we're seeing the same team going round again. We've got Express, CJ, and Shady.
Well, in the RLCS World Championship qualifiers, these guys took down the Chiefs 3 times in a row. There is a massive grudge between these two. The Chiefs almost hate them, and that you see in their faces. They are still confident to take them down.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at what the Chiefs are bringing. They were absolutely clinical in their takedown of Melbourne Avant last week. They're going to carry on that impressive form they had in the championship series in Vegas, rather. Cheese man, what do you reckon?
All 6 players as well. Yeah. They all have at least 1 goal per game from last week. They're scoring incredibly well. They're all 6, the best 6 players individually in OCE, and they've been playing together as a team. These two, Torsos and Drippe, have been together now for 2.5 years almost, and that level of cohesion just really shows when they get on the pitch.
I cannot wait to get these teams out here, see them popping off some big Rocket League action. Please go absolutely nuts as we bring out to the arena Sydney Roar, Express, CJ, and Shady. And now make some noise for the Sydney Chiefs. Cammy, Drippe, and Torsos. Righto, I believe now viewers on 10 Peach are set to leave. You were still with us, guys. We tricked you. We got you. Nice one. But you can continue watching live at gfinityesports.com.au, or full replay is at 10play.com.au. We'll be back next week if you're watching on 10play. Otherwise, get onto Twitch. Why not? Rocket League coming up in just a moment. Heaps more. Sydney Roar and Sydney Chiefs. See you soon.
We create machines that make every experience more intense and real. With Intel Core processors so powerful, you can redefine reality. Because the best feature of a gaming machine is the power to make you forget it's there.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare Iced Coffee.
Like it's nothing. Come on, better kick it. Oh, good job, team. Good job.
Hoyt's Gfinity Esports Arena at the Entertainment Quarter in Moore Park, Sydney. If you want to join us live here each weekend, get your tickets at hoyts.com.au Gfinity. Yummy cheese, man. This is a huge final match. We're seeing some world-class teams going up against each other. Who do you think it's going to be, Raw or Chiefs?
It's the match of the season, and there's a lot on the line. The casters and analysts are split as well, going 50-50 for Raw and Chiefs.
But who are you calling?
I'm going for the Chiefs. I think their World Championship run was enough and really showed how good they can be, and they're going to bring that back today.
I'm excited to see some epic Rocket League gameplay here in Week 4. Right now we're going to cross to our casters. Their Gfinity Elite Series very own Beauty and the Beast is Jake and Jim.
I tell you what, we are split here as well. Chiefs, Raw, we don't know which side we're going for, but we know that this is going to be a potential grand final matchup here, Jim Nesso, and I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, I'm more concerned as to who is the Beauty and who is the Beast.
Right now,
yeah,
I'm not too sure about
that's
that.
playing on me, I don't know.
I'm not too sure about that right now, however. For everyone watching at home, before we get into this intense matchup, we're going to reward you for sticking around once again. All you have to do is head to Gfinity.incentloyalty.com and use your drop code on your screen. This time it's G-Dribble. Last time I missed out on it because we were in the middle of a game. You can earn some currency there. You've only got a limited time to go to the website and enter that drop code and get paid as usual. You receive 5 incent for each drop code all weekend. Don't worry about missing the action. You can keep watching the match from the rewards website. And why would you leave this series? Raw and Chiefs is literally going to be the epitome of the Gfinity Elite Series. This time, these are the 2 best teams. They've returned from the international stage, and you're getting it Week 4. You spoiled people. I hope you enjoy it, though, because this is a bit of a precursor of what's to come.
Yeah, I'm going to need to go on that M15 diet because this is a treat. This is an absolute treat, this match. Now, we're expecting that, obviously, both these 2 teams, they want to come out of the gates roaring. But that's where I've skewed my prediction. I'm going to go with the Raw in this one. It's a must-win for them too because they're not safe in terms of where they sit on the ladder either because they had their draft roster in. They dropped a match earlier on in the season to Perth Ground 0. And whether or not they win here could play on that.
Well, you got to remember as well, in the off-season, in a best-of-7, Raw actually took down the Chiefs and it was classified as a massive upset. They went to the World Championship as the 1st seed. Now, in the World Championship, they didn't obtain as much as maybe the Chiefs did when Chiefs finished 4th all round. And that was a great performance for the Oceanic region. The Chiefs are classified as the better team. And in a best-of-5, we don't know which way this could go, but all odds are put on the Chiefs. But again, that potential of upset, that potential of, I guess, setting us up for the finals is right here.
I mean, the factors are there on the stage.
Yep.
All the players are going to be individual factors, and how well they play today and how quickly they get into it is going to be determining where they sit on that ladder. As I said, it's a really crucial clash, not just in terms of 2 world-class teams going head-to-head and really trying to assert their dominance here locally, but they want to make their finals run now for the Gfinity Elite Series.
And it's been on the back of this man right here to start that run for the Raw. CJ, the captain, the man.
So good they named him twice.
Well, I tell you what, he's been performing well. He's changed the way that Shady and Express look at this team. It was a very different play style than previous seasons. They added Dumbo to the mix, and they took out Season 1 on the order roster. For back-to-back titles, it requires a win over Chiefs here. It sets them up for the future. It sets them up for the finals where we expect them to go. But they have to get past Chiefs right now and show us that they have the willingness to get there.
That's right, and it's a massive, hurdle for anybody in the Elite Series to get across Chiefs. And last season we saw Avant do it in an upset, but this time around Chiefs have made some changes and they brought in Kami. He's been an absolute revelation for them once he's gelled with the team. He even said himself there was a few initial mistakes as a unit. They were not quite connecting, but since they've actually found that connection, they've been able to integrate him more into what they're doing, and they've looked so deadly.
You got to remember as well, Kami used to be a part of CJ's roster. Kami and CJ played so much together. On the flip side, when you put CJ with Shady and Express, I mean, this is their 1st season together. This is kind of their debut in the Gfinity Elite Series at the very least. Now, they may have debuted on the world stage, but this is a very different environment. There's, once again, an audience, but you're going off in a more controlled environment. And for Sydney Raw, I think I favour their odds in such a controlled environment. How are they on land? Well, that might be a different question.
I mean, you've got experienced veterans in each of the teams, but in terms of the Gfinity Elite Series stage, you've got Shady there on screen. You've also got Express as well. They're former champions of the Gfinity Elite Series. They won Season 1 together with Melbourne Order, but now obviously under the Raw banner. But then you've also got the Chiefs with Drippe and Torsos, who have been synonymous with, I guess, excellence in Rocket League.
Yeah, they really have. However, while we wait for this game to get underway in short moments, if you missed us, it was a very interesting start to the day with Melbourne Order and Melbourne Avant. That's our only 3-1. Apart from that, the Deceptors at ground zero, I think that was a much more interesting matchup despite the scoreline.
It was, and I think we touted that one as being a match where ground zero, we're going to bring it. And we expected 5 games in that one. We didn't get 5 games, and I think, it comes down to the fact that Brisbane Deceptors forced a lot of mistakes out of Perth ground zero.
I think for ground zero, though, there was increased performance towards that third game. Like you said, a couple of errors that cost them in the end of the day, but Brisbane Deceptors, they're that team that we're expecting to go up either Raw or Chiefs, depending on maybe how this matchup goes. We're looking at that team to join these two highlights, and it could be anyone's game.
It is, and I think what we saw then was Brisbane Deceptors coming of age in terms of a more polished performance overall, and I think in the initial stages of what we've seen from them as a unit, 2 young players, you had Yeatsy, you had Steve, and they didn't have a lot of experience on a stage like this. Jake's been able to mould them the way that he likes and also play a game style that he wanted to play.
That's right.
And it's getting results.
You got to remember as well that Jake was on this Chiefs roster. Jake was, I guess, moulding and being moulded by Torsos, by Drippe. So they've played together for a while. They're one of the longest standing rosters in the world for Rocket League. Jake comes out of the equation. He adds that experience to a lineup like the Brisbane Deceptors, and they sit in here. About this matchup, you'll see that how we end this game or how we end this series is going to be kind of a defining point, because then we move on to Brisbane Deceptors and say, will they be at that same point?
Well, that's it. They've got to challenge some champions on stage, though, in that regard. They're a bit off that. You've got a player, say, for example, like Shady. He was quite a dynamic duo with Express last season. And this is what I'm expecting more of. Again, just that passing play between the two of them. Express is always waiting in the wings for what Shady will do and vice versa. They seem to have this understanding.
I love that this is the example, the passing play. The dynamic duo kind of becomes a singular at that point. But I know what you're saying, Gymnesta. You're exactly right. All 3 of them aggressive last week. This was against Melbourne Avant. And this was such a dominating performance. Both teams had 3 O's last week. And you can see why this matchup is so hyped.
Well, traditionally, you've looked at teams that have gone overseas. It has been the Chiefs.
Yep.
They have been somewhat slow when they get back to domestic competition because they had to shift focus. And I think last week we saw both the teams returning from overseas duties, and they were able to get into the groove and the rhythm quite quickly. And I think that's a scary prospect.
It definitely is. For the Chiefs, it's pretty much the same story as Raw for last week. It was pretty much the same story all across the board. We put Deceptors up here with these 2 teams, but if it looks anything like last week, the Chiefs are just going to continue skyrocketing forward. I guess that's partially why they're one of the favourites in this matchup.
Oh, most definitely. I think, as we said, that's one of the favourites.
One of the 2 favourites.
You're hedging your bets there, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
But in terms of, the class that they're up against, this is where they're really going to prove themselves, whether or not they're going to have those championship credentials. We already know that, they stand tall amongst the rest of the competition. But these 2, we circled this particular matchup at the start of the season as the one to watch. And we get it in week 4.
We're lucky. Like I said, we're spoiled as well. We're moving towards the end of the league play of the regular season. And I'm concerned for some teams, but not these 2. I think we're safe in assuming that they've made it to the final. We're safe in assuming that the Chiefs will be there. Well, after last season, am I right in saying that, Gymnesto?
Well, actually, the interesting thing is in this matchup, if Sydney Raw, for example, go down, it could be very, very different in the way that affects the ladder in terms of semi-finals. So you could potentially see these 2 teams meet in the semi-finals if something doesn't go their way.
It was such a good week for Chiefs last week, though, Gymnesto. It was off the back of this person right here. Torsos has been confident as usual. Now, let's not forget his words on the semi-finals. But still, Chiefs, you cannot deny, are in great form. And Torsos is just nailing these shots down each and every time. So looking forward to having a similar performance today for the Chiefs member.
Oh, most definitely. And I think, his positional play as well, off the back of fantastic passing, allows him to always be in the right place at the right time, but that's calculated in what he does.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for more of that. I'm looking for that Torsos live wire. But yeah, again, Kami, he's been an absolute revelation.
Yeah, right now for Chiefs, if they get off the ground, it'll be like a return to sender from Sydney Raw. I don't think we've had a season, and we've only had 2, mind you, so we definitely haven't had a season where both Sydney Raw and Brisbane Deceptors have looked so strong. It's such a big comparison from the first season where they were the 2 teams that were getting shut out. There was no way they were making it to semi-finals. We locked in our top 4 by week 2 or 3. This time, everything's kind of on the line, and although we know which 2 teams probably won't make it towards the semi-finals, we're not too sure on who's going to make it towards that grand final and take out season 2.
Well, this is a real chance for them to push the envelope and see where they end up. And it is a best of 5, as you said. That shortened format may favour one of the teams who get away to a streak early on in the piece, because they can hold on to that momentum. All they need is 3 games to secure it. 3 games against, this is going to be, as we said, the match of the day, maybe even the match of the league season.
Yeah, all we need is that momentum. However, a bit of a short break when we return straight into this game 1 of Sydney Raw and Sydney Chiefs.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
3 days ago, Coda announced that Zero would join Cell 7 in the upcoming Soma Worlds tournament. After so many league victories, switching teams this close to the tournament appears to be a deliberate move to destroy Coda's chance at the title.
You better be feeling that fever here at the Gfinity Elite Series. It's the fever of knowing that Raw and Chiefs are about to take head-to-head action here, jumping onto the field. Jim Nesso's next to me. And if you don't know my name, well, I'm not telling you now. CJ, the core of this roster. Is this leadership going to be enough heading into game 1 when you're going up against Torsos, Trippe, Kami, who had a great Worlds performance? Top 4 team in the world. Not here in Australia, not here in New Zealand. Well, we're not in New Zealand. In the world, Sydney Raw and the Chiefs. This is going to be a doozy. This is going to be a great matchup. And I can't wait to get started. Neither can Trippe, who sends it down the field.
And I've got a fever for this game, and we're going to be prescribed more cowbell as Trippe looks to get a connecting touch here with Torsos. The passing plays are what we're looking for. The way that these guys play, the rotations, everything about them is so smooth. I'm looking forward to this match.
So you want to see how fast Raw can play in the face of the Chiefs. In the face of adversity, Shady gets demoed. Trippe with the drop down, still in the defense, but Kami might run away with it. Shady in hard. And you're going to see the difference in play as CJ just swings past. Ball bouncing back. Express centers it to the old teammate of Kami, or at least to CJ. Knocks it out of his hands. Torsos with a defensive clear, goes over to Trippe. A lot more passing here in this game. Express hits the roof, ready for CJ. The knock gets blocked. Around, Torsos comes in, red hot.
That is placement right there. And the way he picks out his spots, able to just capitalise completely on the fact that the net was somewhat open, puts just a touch out of reach of Shady. And Sydney Chiefs find their first in this Battle of Sydney.
Well, the Sydney Raw, close on the defence, but still, it feels like it's going to be a close one. Torsos comes through, aggressive as always. The setup's still there. CJ sitting in net. Torsos not ready to make the commitment to bump or demo. Kami comes in, great angle, but the backboard instead. Now for Trippe on net. CJ's there, what a save. Express will still come through. Bit of momentum again. Pacing seems to be the thing. Shady corrects the flow. A little bit misdirection there from Sydney Chiefs. Intercept again, an opportunity. Torsos not too much boost to play with. A quick bump onto Kami in front of net. A standstill, but CJ can't commit back forward. Boost taken away, so starving them out a little bit here. Defensive side from the Sydney Chiefs. The demo comes through onto Shady, but a big clear from Trippe.
That's just going to release them as well, to allow them to get more boost in those tanks and give them the freedom to do what they need to, because for a moment and for a while, they were under pressure from Sydney Raw, but watch how this pendulum swings. It can go both ways.
Express sticking around the midfield. He comes back down for the double touch. A close call again. CJ with the infield, but just manages to get possession back away. Drippe Queen's house through centre field. Also reads. Army comes back around. Sydney Chiefs. The pressure still there. Shady there. Right into Drippe, but the touch from CJ. And it comes through as clean as it begun. 1-1.
And that is just great pressure being heaped on by Sydney Raw. They capitalise on what has been a good period for them. They had Chiefs on the back foot for a little while, and it's always good to come away from those periods of pressure with a goal in hand.
You'd have to welcome back our 10-peach audience on the internet now, because I tell you what, if they miss this game, they're going to be kicking themselves.
Absolute peach of a match.
Things looking fruity almost for Sydney Raw. I'll stop, Jim Nesso. It's your fault. Shady centres it. The ball goes through. Torsos, bit of a mistouch there. Drippe almost hands it off to CJ. Express plays it slow around the corner, but Drippe manages to pick up the boost. Means that Torsos can continue forward. It means that Drippe can send it down towards the net. A shot, a demo almost. Kami stops it, but look how close they are. The passing coming upfield now for Sydney Raw.
And I know you didn't appreciate what I said before, but it was an absolute plum of a pun, and I couldn't help myself. But I mean, these two teams are going head-to-head, they're going toe-to-toe, and it's end-to-end stuff, but the way that they pass, the way that they're looking for each other constantly, the rotations from these players, both in attack and defense, are what separate them from the rest of the pack.
That's in! The Raw, they're just so fast up the field, Jim Nesso. And it was Express this time. CJ with the bump onto Kami, keeping him busy. The heads-up play again.
See if they can recover though. Sydney Chiefs have been good, but we knew Sydney Raw would bring a fast game. They need to match it.
Shady comes through for the challenge. That'll set it up again. Shady actually centering the ball. Drippe keeps it above the backboard, above the waist. Express with the touch forward. Torsos now from the corner. This is an opportunity for Chiefs. He's run out of boost. Kami got some to play with, but Express manages to win over. Drippe comes from the corner as well. Shady kept standing, but it works out. Torsos lobs it up, but look at the defense now. It's just Kami. CJ sends it down, and the perfect pass ends up well for Sydney Raw.
Sydney Raw worked themselves out of defense into attack. The transition was so fast, and you can see they're always looking for that next passing play. CJ with the presence of mind to find Shady. No doubt that com was coming through hard.
Yeah, not a moment to spare here out of Sydney Raw, though. The speed's gone up. Demolitions have started to appear. Shot calling's been great. Big boomer there onto the backboard from Kami. It's Drippe who waits patiently. The shot on net, covered by CJ and Express. Kami lobs it up again. It's Express who comes back around. Torsos now with a perfect angle. The infield's great, but a block was even better from Shady. CJ doesn't need to commit. They're playing with so much time here. They've kept it. They've dilly-dallied around, and it's looked great. Drippe won't have the angle on net. And Sydney Raw, this could be it. Game number 1 in their back pockets, setting the tone for the Gfinity Elite Series and setting them up nicely. This is a Raw's chance to prove it. They couldn't do it on the international stage to climb up where the Chiefs were, but they might be able to do it here locally. Drippe doesn't find that one. And Sydney Raw, game 1, Jim Nesso. It's feeling pretty good. It's feeling great. And this might just set the tone for the series. Torsos doesn't find anywhere in the back of that net. So, game 1 for the Raw.
And they had to work their way into it, didn't they, as well? I mean, these guys have the best handshakes in the league, self-proclaimed, of course. But, I mean, with performances like that, it's hard to doubt them. But as we said, CJ, he's always in the mix. And just in terms of what he brings to the team, he brings them together. And I think from Sydney Raw's perspective, they were fast. They had to work their way in that game, but Sydney Chiefs made them work for it with that first goal.
And you thought the pressure was going to be a bit too much for the Raw. You thought they were going to be shut out or maybe get stuck in the defensive side, but these clears, these setups, these infields, it's just worked out beautifully. And they got confident again, Jim Nesso.
Always something happening in the mix with these teams in terms of what going on in back play as well. And the camera doesn't always quite capture that either. I think, that's just that bump in back play as well, keeping Kami busy, keeping him out of that net, allowed them to get goal number 2.
It's just such a different caliber of game as well. Not to discredit any of our teams here at Gfinity, but these guys have had that extra bit of experience. They come back off the world stage and they look stronger. There's moments and periods where you're going, well, look, they're not as strong as maybe they should be or could possibly be. But that's not the case here. The Chiefs putting up a good fight, but Raw just managed to find that struggle a little bit less here in Game 1. Game 2 coming up shortly. It's the Raws to take if all continues like this. Let's jump in. Still a hefty matchup. See if the Chiefs can fight back.
And the beauty of having these teams go overseas is they bring it all back. They bring that knowledge. They bring that play style. They bring just the experience, and the region as a whole benefits. And they're definitely benefiting from watching this match.
Kami up for it. Defense needs to be strong here from the Chiefs. The pass up. CJ doesn't need to commit. They just play with the clear. And again, use that time. Intercept doesn't come in. Aggressive move here from Kami. Almost sets up Torsos, but look at the defense of the Chiefs. It continues once again. The Raw coming in hot. The pass back off the backboard. Kami's not in position. The drip base saving the day.
They get that fast counter-attack going already. And Sydney Raw just absorbing some pressure. Let off the hook, though, because that went a little bit too deep.
Interesting play there from the Chiefs. Now for the counterplay from Raw. Grady doesn't get too much control. CJ bringing it back, expresses here. Kami to the ball first. Shady pops it up still. Getting bullied around is Kami. Hangs back on the wall. The center's beautiful. But CJ's the one to receive it instead.
The ball not being dealt with just yet. No one really wanting to step their claim on it. But Sydney Chiefs just looking for that next connecting play. They couldn't quite find it. But need to be careful here in their rotations. They are going deep because Sydney Raw had that ability to counter-attack well. Those defensive passes can transition so quickly into attack, and that's what they need to be mindful of.
Montrepay gets first of the ball, but it might not matter in the end. Shady brings it back into contention in front of net. Kami dribbles it back down. The tempo starting to be put on here by Sydney Raw, but nil all game might favour the Chiefs at this point. CJ comes in around the side. Torsos tries to read it around towards that backboard. CJ dunks it past his own net. No one expecting it, so no one able to capitalise. Torsos is across that goal square, but a massive clear on the ground. Left for CJ again, towards the backboard. Shady gets demoed. Torsos will help with the clear. Through centre field. Bit of a boomer of a shot. Wide once more. The infield to Torsos. He's wide as well.
We've seen that a few times this week, just those wider shots. And maybe that's going to be the difference. These two teams, nothing separates them at the moment, 0-0. And they need to build from the back here, but this is what they have the confidence to do, pass in defense, and that comes with trust. And they've been able to build that over a period of time as they look to emulate the success here in the Gfinity Elite Series.
Shady being a bit of a frisky biscuit, pushing up. CJ, defensive pass back around. It's Torsos who keeps it in this corner. CJ can't deal with Torsos, who just keeps flipping around. Known very well for his individual plays, but also his ability to react. Shady across to CJ, but again, Torsos up there first. Express punches it down. And for the Raw, again, no goal. Makes me get a little bit concerned. A touch by Kami. 2 minutes left remaining, 0-all. Much more interesting game 2.
There's only been a few chances created in this game as well. I think both these two teams have dealt with each other's pressure, dealt with each other's passing play, and no shots have really been put on goal thus far, bar maybe that attempt earlier, but I think there's only going to be one goal that separates the teams, it looks like, and whoever's going to be first to score may just up the tempo of this match somewhat.
And you'll be asking if Sydney Raw are the Achilles heel of the Chiefs after the off-season, after Season 2. Soon find out. Kami's high. Off the backboard, Torsos reacts well for the corner. Drippe brings it back in. The double touch means that Torsos gets another crack. With CJ, it goes back and forth. Around this corner, Kami's waiting for the ultimate move. Ends up being Chiefs, who just keep it around the midfield. Now the counter-attack, the Raw are back on it. The demo onto Shady, and in return, Kami towards net. It's going in, and it's done.
And I was sitting there watching that passage of play going, okay, who's going to get caught out at the back here? Is that clearance going to put them under pressure if it goes over Express? It may have, but he was waiting for that one, and he's the one that completely capitalises on an open net.
Kami comes back just in time to watch the goal being scored. A minute remaining, and the Raw need to hold this fraction of a lead. Aggression again, staying on the attack. Maybe one last move for the Chiefs. Trippe comes back in. The dribble's here. CJ gets it out of his hands, but off the backboard, this will continue. Shady with the perfect read, but how perfect is it when Torsos is still here? Kami in front of the ball. Trippe waits for Shady to go past it. A bit of a smart move. He pops it up over 2 defenders. CJ was there, but Kami's just been given more time. So, again, maybe question marks on how this is going to go forward. 25 seconds, still on the attack. The Chiefs ready to push it forward. Kami's there, but 2 defenders commit. And that might be perfect here. The Chiefs still in this attack, but Express manages to clear it.
Have they been let off the hook? That's the question. A last attacking play here coming out from the Chiefs, but it looks to be dealt with well. The Sydney Raw look to find their second.
CJ rolls over the ball. The Chiefs can't keep it up. For the Raw, have they done enough? You got to think so. Still in the air. Has to touch down. Torsos to Trippe. He doesn't capture it. And the moment's gone, but the moment continues for the Raw. Match point. This was not what I would call a 2-0 start for the Raw. This was me saying the Chiefs were going to be bringing this one home. Confidence lacking now as the Raw look punishing.
They do, and I think that speaks to the stats as well, that Chiefs only had 2 shots on net that entire game, whereas Sydney Raw had 5, and it was only 1 goal that separated them in the end. And look, we know these teams are well known for their attacking prowess, but it was such a tight game.
It was such a tight game. One moment defined everything. We return with Game 3 right after this.
Mr. Murray, have you decided on a name?
We're thinking Callum.
Calamari.
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 Let's make it Jack.
Drink it through with Dare iced coffee.
You're watching the Gfinity Elite Series presented by Alienware. It is match point coming up, Raw against Chiefs. They lead 2-0. Now, a reminder that you can win a brand new Alienware M15 laptop this season. It's the thinnest and lightest 15-inch Alienware gaming notebook ever, and this is your chance to take one home. There are 9 different ways to enter, so get to gfinityEsports.com.au for all the details. Yummy, did you see it going this way? You didn't, did you?
I didn't expect it to be 2-0 at this point. It is a clean victory right now for Sydney Raw, and not only that, they really feel like they put Sydney Chiefs off their game. Every single time they verse each other, they go for these demos, they get these big 50-50s, and Chiefs just feel like they aren't playing as good as they normally can. They look like a worse team.
We've just taken a little break, though. I mean, do you think Chiefs are going to come back hard into this 3rd game?
Well, they're going to be fired up. They're going to be ready, and we have seen them get the reverse sweeps. In the World Championship, they had the reverse sweep against PSG in the 1st round. They can hold on. They have the mentality. They've got the experience, but they have to put that into fruition right now.
Yeah, will this be the final game? We'll find out. Let's get back to our casters. Jake and Jim, get into it.
And get into it we shall. Raw Chiefs, it's a 2-0 start. Is it going to be a 3-0 end? Question now continues, whether Raw are looking like the best team in the Gfinity Elite Series.
Oh, we know that they've got the talent to back it up as well. And I think Chiefs, yes, they're going to have to grind their way back into this. Can they reverse sweep it? Can they take some points here? I mean, at the moment, Sydney Raw, at the very least, have secured themselves a bonus point if they were to lose this. But they don't want that. They want the victory. They want to put the sting on at Chiefs, and it would definitely go a long way towards their season.
Well, Jim, let's find out. The Raw have a chance to close this one. The story, does it end at 3-0? Or does the reverse sweep begin for the Chiefs? Yes, against PSG, excuse me. It's been a long day, apparently, and also for my age. But Sydney Raw, they're looking clean.
Do they get to choose their own adventure, though? That's the question. Are they going to turn to page 17? Don't know what's on page 17, but we're about to find out.
Oh, the 1, 2, 3 again. The story looking pretty cut and dry. Setup so clean. Running Chiefs around like there were nothing at this point.
And Express, he was quick on the delivery. And Sydney Raw get themselves some early momentum here. Chiefs very much on the back foot. Need to be careful though. They don't want to go down another goal. Sydney Raw is certainly going to up the tempo.
Torsos through centre field. Needs to get this ball down to Drippe. Drippe comes forward for the challenge, but it's CJ who meets it instead. Over to Shady. Demo onto Shady. That means Drippe gets time. Time over to Kami. Committing up for the ball. They both commit for it, actually. Chiefs need to hold strong in the face of adversity. Adversity right now onto CJ. Kami saves it. Goes high. Express can't find it either. On towards net. Shady. Be a pass to CJ. Challenge goes over. Drippe coming in. The bouncer towards net. CJ gets it out. Close call from both defense and offense.
No doubt a massive sigh of relief here, but they need to be careful defending their own net still. Sydney Raw just sitting back and letting Chiefs come at them. And I don't know if that's the right approach, but they've dealt with that pressure well.
Ball up the field. Torsos nails it back down. Yeah, ping pong at the moment, one that favours the Raw. Shady gets demo, but CJ with the clear up, that's going to mean nothing. Recovery already coming through as well, taking these challenges. The Raw feel confident right now. Kami to the standstill. CJ goes around, bullies him a little bit before getting back himself. Express pops it up, but perfect positioning if the Chiefs wanted to come through, but unfortunately they didn't. The pulley away from Torsos. Express still finds a big clear. Control still there. Drippe needs to do something with the ball, but can't. Running out of options here. Down it goes to the infield. Torsos continues it forward. Drippe comes in. Chiefs just cannot penetrate this defense right now.
Look at all these bumps. Look at all these screens. Look at the way that they're just jostling one another around the mat, really trying to unsettle each other. But good clearance there. Chiefs are still coming at them.
Good couple of fakes too from the Chiefs. Trying to get the minds of CJ. CJ! What happened there? Oh well, that's the Chiefs opener.
I think Express thought he had a little bit more distance than he did there, but didn't quite get the touch on it in the end. It went over the line before he could do anything about it. And Sydney Chiefs are back in this match, so we talked to their World Championship credentials. They're going to have to full flex here if they want to get themselves back in and get some points.
Well, shot on net again. Things looking okay for the Chiefs now. Confidence forward. Torsos commits for dunk. Drippe comes in with the angle red hot. And CJ now playing around the defensive side. Kami wide. Express for the dribble. Shady reacts well. See if he can get through here. Gets to the corner. Tries to tally it back around. Drippe, that's a great pass over to Kami, but just didn't commit for it. Torsos comes back in. The infield's great again. The angle perfect. Down for Torsos. Smack it. Shady just blocks it away. Chiefs again.
Great pinch.
Drippe comes in. Normally hits those. Not sure what's going on. One apiece, but how does it hold up?
Chiefs at the moment, they need to settle themselves.
CJ, right through the middle, into your heart. And you can't be feeling anything but tingling. And it's a Raw again. Who strike, Jim Nessa?
It very much is, and I don't know if that's put the sting on the Sydney Chiefs, but they need to rise and rise again. Much like the sun, I guess. But for them, the difference is they want points here. They want to take this win, but they're 3 games away from doing that right now. And a goal in this is going to go a long way towards getting that Needs to be careful though.
Oh, what a clear from Shady. Sets up for Express. Kami can't get there. And the Raw are just playing a better game of Rocket League right now. There's not too much to say about it, but with clears like this, things are looking good for now to say maybe the best team here at the Elite Series for Season 2.
They're fluid in attack and defense at the moment, Sydney Raw, and I think they're definitely playing up to the fact right now that the momentum is in their favour. They're playing so direct, they're catching Chiefs off guard, and with clearances, as you said, like that, it's easy to see why.
CJ, defensive. 45 seconds to go. Chiefs have pretty much run out of time here unless they can get something off this attack. And again, anything can happen. Express, the ball goes up. Kami must come down. Strip A with the dribble. Now for the solo play. Needs this. Can't land anything. Kami the cross. Over to Drip A. Perfect play for the Chiefs. Kami in position. CJ can't get the double off. Now the Chiefs have a window.
Needs fantastic awareness as well. Just stuck in the challenge for that double touch into the net. CJ clears it straight into Drip A. Drip A fully aware of that. And they find themselves a second goal and set up a grandstand finish.
25 seconds remaining. It's the Chiefs now who feel like they have a bit more control. But one goal silences it here from Express. Down in front of the net. Double touch not possible from that angle, but Shady might have something to say about this one. The clear over the top. Kami's there with the perfect layering on top. Kami. That double touch brings them into overtime. Drip A sends it up. The clock still counting down. Drip A denied by CJ. Coming back over. The backboard hit up hard. Express is there. Chiefs trying to keep it up. But see you later. It's the Chiefs who get 3-0. It's the Raw who defy expectations.
Much like the Spanish Inquisition, no one expected that. And they get themselves away to a 3-0 win over the Chiefs. Honestly,
no one expected this.
No one expected that.
Apart from you, who bet on the Raw. So you and Korea actually went for Raw. So again, nothing certain here in the Gfinity Elite Series. It's only week 4. But this could give us an indication of what we're looking at in finals if the Chiefs manage to claw their way through, same as Raw.
Oh, exactly right. And I think, there was very little wiggle room for the Chiefs given at all. And start to finish, Sydney Raw definitely looked like they came in with purpose, with intent. And at every turn, they were waiting for the Chiefs. Made them pay.
One mistake led to another. But again, powerful play from Sydney Raw. And you got to look at CJ. I mean, he's just such a rock. He's such a unit for this team. There's so many times, yes, you're looking at Express and Shady, but there's so many times you're saying that CJ is holding them all together. And we'll see more of that moving forward.
Yeah, I thought maybe after that Drip A goal, they were going to find some more momentum, the Chiefs, and they had 25 seconds to work with. And I thought potentially there could be some hope here. Sydney Raw dealt with that pressure well, bled out those last 25 seconds, and they come away with it.
Maybe it's how he has breakfast with the Dare iced coffee and flakes. So I don't know if I can say cornflakes. I just did. Anyway.
Certainly wasn't flaky.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't. Thanks, Jim Nesso. However, Ash is standing by with the captain and head honcho from Sydney Raw, CJ.
Thanks, Hysterics. CJ, congratulations on your win. A clean sweep, 3-0. Were you surprised at all? Do you think you might have put Chiefs off their game?
I feel like obviously throughout the season, leading up to the World Championships, we beat them 3 times. We hadn't lost them yet, so we felt if we just brought that sort of game style back, that we were pretty confident we'd get the win. But I don't think either team played as well as they could. But we were just glad to get a good result.
Well, Chiefs and Raw, you guys are considered 2 of the best teams here at Gfinity. And also Chiefs are number 4 in the world. How did you prepare for the match today?
Yeah, well, obviously we didn't have as good as a World Championships as we hoped. We thought we'd do a lot better, but coming back to Australia on home soil, we were still feeling pretty good, and we're back to our old play style. So it's still beating Chiefs, so that's all we need.
Well, you took down the top dogs. It was an awesome match. You now have bragging rights for Sydney. Next week, you guys are up against the Deceptors. Are you feeling pretty good for that one?
Yeah, we're stoked to obviously get the 3 wins now, so guaranteed a final spot. So now we're just looking to get that top spot. So good luck. Look out, Brisbane.
Congratulations again. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Over to you, Luke.
You didn't see it coming, did you, Yummy? You didn't see it coming.
No one 3-0's the
3-0.
Chiefs. No, I can't even remember the last time in history that ever happened. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
That's got to put fuel in their fire, hey, going into the rest of the
sure.
series.
They're going to
be peeved.
They're going to be spending all week just practicing, getting ready.
Yeah.
Well, not just all week. They're going off to E-League to represent Australia once again with this in the back of their mind. And then they're going to have to come back and potentially face Sydney Raw again in the finals.
My goodness. Let's have a look at how Raw took it away from there. Talk us through some analysis right now.
It's a big series for the Raw. They took out the Chiefs, and again, they just make Chiefs look like a worse team. They're not like the fourth best team, and it's these passings that finishes off the goals for them. Big play coming out, and we saw this time and time again from the Raw coming out across the pitch. A lot of demos as well throughout this entire series. They ended up just making sure that anytime the Chiefs were in defense, anytime they were trying to set anything up, they were worried in the back of their mind, is someone coming behind me to blow me up?
Yeah, they were definitely on form. I think we're going to see another goal. I think we're going to see an express goal from Game 3 right now. We're going to have a look at that. I mean, they were just absolutely popping off, weren't they?
Yeah, another exemplary passing play coming out from Sydney Raw as well. The backboard normally covered by the Chiefs. They were so quick with this setup that they were able to get there before Chiefs could even defend. And that doesn't happen. They're really showing their dominance here. And if it gets back to the grand final, Raw against the Chiefs is a very likely matchup, and that's a scary thought.
Well, it's got to be a smackdown to other teams as well, because, I mean, if Chiefs went down like that 3-0, what hope do the rest of the teams have?
It's rough.
It's rough.
Is really rough. And Brisbane Deceptors next week, they have to look at Raw. Luckily, they have already secured themselves. Or they would have been in the spot where, like, oh no, we have to try and beat Raw to win, but get the top 4.
Well, let's find out who our MVP is for that match, thanks to Astro Headsets. Right, the final match in Rocket League between Sydney Raw and Chiefs was a big one, mainly for Raw. Yummy, let's talk about who your Astro MVP votes go to.
We have to look at Sydney Raw for the entire MVP. Shady was really good in the back half of the pitch. He got some good clears that led to goals as well. Express was an important part of the offense. Always so good at striking, getting the ball straight into the net. But CJ, he takes out the MVP this week. It was a big play. The big plays coming out from him. Getting together with Express as well was so important. They were 1-2 combo here. And just finding these angles, surprising the Chiefs, catching them off guard.
Yeah, epic play there. World-class stuff here at the Gfinity Elite Series. Well done, CJ. CJ, you are the Astro MVP for the Raw Chiefs matchup in Week 4. Righto, guys, here's the results from Week 4. Let's have a look at how it all played out. As you can see there, Melbourne Order taking down Melbourne Avant. Ground Zero going down in the first 3-0 of the day to Brisbane Deceptors, and then no one predicted it. 3-0 Sydney Raw.
This was
taking
meant
down
to
Sydney
be.
Chiefs.
This was meant to be close matchups all day. It was tight, but they ended up going one way.
And we can see what it's done to the standings right there. Sydney Raw in the lead, clearly, but only 1 point in it, still just ahead of Sydney Chiefs. Brisbane Deceptors just behind them. Melbourne Order 7 points, and Perth, Ground Zero, and Avant. Avant, look, they might be out of it at this point, but we will find out. Right now, here's a quick look at the matchups for Week 5. The last preliminary round in the Gfinity Elite Series. Points are vital for some of the teams. They're fighting to reach the semis. That's what's happening next week, as we can see Deceptors going up against the Raw. That's going to be tough for the boys. Then Perth, Ground Zero, Melbourne Avant, and then Chiefs. I reckon they'll have more of a chance up against Order. We will see. Later today, Street Fighter 5 is going to be coming your way. That's at 4 p.m. It's Eastern Daylight Time in Australia. Counter-Strike is obviously back next Saturday at 3 p.m. with some epic guitar into me there. Boom! Rocket League returns next Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And finally, remember to follow Gfinity AU on socials to get notified when we go live on CSGO, Rocket League, and Street Fighter 5. That's it for another week of epic Rocket League action. Thank you so much, Yummy Cheeseman. Thanks to our casters, Jake and Jim, and my amazing co-host, Ash. Thanks to everyone and all the players, all the live audience for coming down and watching. Come and join us next Sunday morning live in the arena, or watch online or on 10 Peach. Until then, bye for now. I'm Luke Joseph Ryan. Have a great week. See you later.